Hey, that was fast. Woo! Okay, so I am here. Are you here? I'm here. I'm here. Uh, and I have videos ready. My name's Mike. This is my YouTube page, Mox News. And welcome to your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. I'm your host, Moxie. And we have lots of stuff to look at. Uh, Apparently, Trump accomplished what he wanted in Seattle. He sent his Homeland Security Gestapo Stormtroopers in, and now they're gone. They left. They don't even tell anybody. It's like, oh yeah, we left a few hours ago. Fucking assholes. I can't stand these Gestapo Stormtroopers. Lame. Okay, let's see. What do we got here now? I got a video about Da Nang, Vietnam, and all the local tourists. I guess Da Nang is a pretty hot resort area, and all the locals, all the people, all the Vietnamese tourists are being asked to leave this place. It's like, I guess it's like New York City telling people from Florida to quarantine or something, right? Um, but I thought Vietnam was pretty cool, was pretty clean, so I'm kind of surprised about that. Uh, and we have lots of other videos, uh, including the fact that the Homeland Security Gestapo stormtroopers have left Seattle. I have that video ready for you. And I have videos and other stuff. So, that brings us to now. Man, I can smell the marijuana. Can you guys smell the marijuana? It's like this big and I can smell it. It's like, what is that? Oh my. Nice. How lovely is that for me? It's only this big and I can smell it from 3 rooms away. Alright, who's ready for a dab? What has 2 thumbs and is ready for a fucking dab right now? How about you guys? Ready for a dab? You ready for a dab right now? I'm ready for a dab right now. I am. I'm ready. I'm so ready. So ready for a dab. Okay, so I'm ready to play videos. I come out here every night at 7 p.m. sharp. I am on time. I have videos prepared. Videos from today. Videos from this evening. Ready to go, lined up, because I do what I do very well. So, and we have a new goal here on the Mox News Live show, which is, I'm not ready. You have to call back. I'm not ready. You have to call back. We have a new goal here on Mox. It's really not the goal, but one of the objectives is to try and reach $10 a day in donations. Fucking A. Last night, we reached $15 in donations. Oh my God! I was like, holy cow, look at this. I broke that ceiling. $10, huh? But the goal, again, is to reach, not the goal, but one of the objectives of moving forward is to see if we can just reach a threshold of $10 a night in contributions, $10 a night, and people giving back. And the reason is because if I could get $10 a day, which I'm not now, and it seems like a very reasonable, if I could get $10 a day, I would be sitting pretty. And I'll tell you why I would be sitting pretty, because I'm not getting it now. It would mean more money. So I would be really, I'd be way ahead of where I'm at right now. So if anybody wants to help out with that, there are clickable links in the chat, in the description box of this video. You can go to moxnews.com. It's easy to leave a contribution there. Otherwise, we will keep moving forward, because it's really not the goal of the show. It's just something that would be nice if it could happen. It would be very nice. So the goal is $10 a night. Well, that's not the goal, but one of the objectives at this time is to see if we can do that. Because if we could, it'd make a huge difference in my life. So we're going with it. Ready? Follow me and do exactly as you see. They will not allow me to do super chat. They will not allow me to monetize this channel, Manny. Alright, so I can't monetize the channel. So you guys, I know it's extra hoops that you have to jump through to try and give something back. But it should only take a minute or two. The links are right there. It's not that much different than clicking on a button that's on the super chat. The links are right there in the chat. It's not that different. I know it would be much easier, and I wish that I could make that happen. And Craig's trying real hard to figure it out. He's got his partner, his business partner, trying to figure out how to get this site. So we're working on it, but Google is being dickholes. And by the way, I have a Google video. I have a video about Google. Google is saying that they're not coming. Their employees are working from home now, and they're not coming back to the Google campus until next July, next summer. So Google must have found out that they make a lot more money with people working at home, or something to that effect. And they're probably going to keep it that way, would be my guess. Or at least keep it that way for as long as they can. I do have that video ready for you to go. I don't know. Look, Google is horrible to Mox News, Manny. Okay? I don't know if you're new. I don't know if you're new to Mox News, Manny, or what. But Google has treated Mox News horrible for the last 5 years or so. And the simple truth is that before that, Mox News was legendary on the YouTube, and now Google is shadow banning it. That most of the people that even are on my subscriptions don't see the videos that I post. Otherwise, there'd be 10,000 people here right now. Duh, it's pretty obvious. So Google's fucking Mox News, so that's the reason that I have to ask you to jump through this extra hoop in order to give something back. which would be really nice of you if you can manage that. And again, there's clickable links in the chat. There's clickable links in the text body of the video, the description box, and you can go to moxnews.com. Otherwise, we have numerous videos ready to play. We have Portland up and running. What else do we got here? We got Louisville and Austin, Texas, Austin and Seattle. Seattle is in the house. Oh, and New York, New York. We have, and again, the Homeland Security Gestapo Stormtroopers have been pulled out of Seattle. So they were brought into Seattle under cover of darkness on Thursday night last week. And then, late Thursday night. And then Saturday, there was a protest. Basically, the protesters burnt down the new... the site, the construction site for the new youth jail, and Homeland Security did what? They stopped that from happening? I don't understand. You know, and then they leave. What is it they made happen? You know, they made it so that the Seattle police felt more emboldened to go and beat up on protesters? What is it that Homeland Security accomplished by sending tactical forces into Seattle? You know, because we saw 59 Seattle police officers wounded during that protest, right? What the fuck good did DHS do? What the fuck good is Trump's Gestapo stormtroopers doing in Seattle, in Portland, in Chicago, in Albuquerque? What the fuck good are they doing? Nothing. This is a worthless organization that must be abolished as quickly as possible. Fuck the DHS. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mark, this is Manny. How's it going?
Going okay. How about you, Manny?
I'm just chilling over here. You're right, though. So regarding the home office thingy, like, yeah, Google sent their people, I think, until July, as I mentioned. But the other thing is, like, a lot of Microsoft, they pull out of a contract for office space in Bellevue. I think they have to pay like $5 million to cancel a contract that they have with the building in Bellevue.
I'm sorry, hey, Manny, I'm having trouble hearing you. Can you talk just a little bit louder?
Oh, yeah. So I was saying, though, that this is not the only place in Google is doing that. Like, yeah. Microsoft, for example.
Oh, yeah.
They paid $5 million just to get out of a contract for office space in Bellevue recently. And, I mean, a lot of businesses and a lot of the places in downtown, especially in downtown Seattle, though, they're canceling their contracts. So I mean, this is part of the great commercial real estate depression that is going to make 2008 look like a walking Disneyland. So, yeah, Google is not the only one. Microsoft is doing the same thing as well, though. And, for example, I work for a company also based on downtown, though, but we're currently working at home. So, but because I work in the finance accounting team, I have to show up in the office every once in a while, though, for meetings or for, like, some accounting and finance stuff. But, yeah, I mean, this is very serious, though. Like, if people don't show up to work, and so there's no need for offices, though. So all these companies, eventually, they're going to end up closing, or they're going to end up losing their values. And remember, that is repackaged and sold to investors, which eventually will end up selling to like people like you and me or pension funds. So people will end up losing a lot of money, Max.
So you think that Google is going to go down in value?
No. The real estate where Google was host. Remember, a lot of these buildings are actually not owned by Google. They're owned by like a real estate company.
Yeah.
Who lease that to big organizations like Google, Microsoft, Amazon. And remember, especially Amazon. Amazon is huge in Seattle, though. Like a lot of the downtown buildings are hosted by Amazon.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's this one section.
The old Macy's building in Westlake Plaza.
There's a section. There's a section of downtown that they call Amazonia.
Yeah. And
kind of down by
Amazon
the lake.
Is not just in Lake Union or in 7th Street. They also have like businesses. They're leasing offices across downtown, though. I know, for example, the old Macy's building in front of the Westlake Plaza, the upper floors are used by Amazon as well, and apparently they were planning to lease the bottom floors where Macy's used to be. They were renting some WeWork space as well because of the overflow, because of the need of space. And this is before the pandemic, because I went to an interview for Amazon in Fort Avenue, and I had to go to one of those WeWork shared spaces where Amazon was working. So yeah, I mean, this is gonna. I mean, people are gonna start working at home, or what they're gonna do is they're gonna do something called nearshoring, which basically means they're gonna send you to a very cheap place. Like instead of working in downtown Seattle, somebody can work in the middle of Boise, Idaho, where it's extremely cheap. And not only you can start doing the same work that you used to do in Seattle, though. They're gonna cut your wages to match the cost of living of, I don't know, Iowa or Boise, which is like $40,000 to $50,000, which that's a lot of money in those places, though. Not in Seattle, though, but in Boise or in Iowa, it's a lot of money, $50,000. So yeah, they're gonna save a lot of money, though. But all these real estate companies are going to suffer, and eventually it's going to trickle down to the pension funds.
Well, I don't think. I mean, I agree. A lot of companies are suffering right now. There's no doubt about it. But I don't think, that the Microsoft isn't paying their rent on buildings that they have right now. I don't think that the Amazon isn't paying their rent. So they're not worried about.
They're pulling out of contracts because I mean it's no longer economically feasible. Yeah. For them to pay for something that they're not using. Right, so they're walking away. Like Microsoft is walking away from some contracts. So obviously, they have to pay a fee for that to cancel the contract.
Yeah, right. Microsoft just closed. They had storefronts that you could walk into here in Seattle. I'm not sure where else. Probably Portland, at least. Somewhere in California, I would think. You could go in. You could buy, like, tablets and shit like that. Software. And they just closed all their stores. So it was kind of like their competition for the Apple Store or whatever. Microsoft just closed all their stores. So yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I used to go to the one in Bellevue Square. And I just went there last Saturday to the Bellevue Square just to walk around though. I mean, Bellevue Square is now open, but like half of the stores are closed or they're like boarded up because. Remember the riots on Sunday after the Saturday riots? People went inside the mall and started looting.
In Bellevue?
Yeah.
In Bellevue? Yeah, that wasn't people. That was. I mean, the police chief in Portland, in Bellevue made it very clear that wasn't people. That was an organized crime related to gangs. He said it was gang related. He said it was very organized. He said the people that went in there were criminals. They weren't people, they weren't protesters. They just went there to fucking steal shit. So.
Oh, yeah. No, there's no doubt about it, though. After the evidence, what I saw, though, and I feel bad for for some of the businesses though, because some of those businesses were not chain businesses.
Yeah.
Like the North Face.
Yeah.
Or like the.
There was a lot of one-of-a-kind businesses there for sure.
Or like the Nordstroms and stuff, but yeah. Again, the Microsoft store they closed because when I used to go to the Microsoft store, like half of the store were just a bunch of kids playing Minecraft or Roblox. And the other half is just like showrooms for like computers that you can look it up on Amazon or Best Buy. So nobody's actually buying stuff on the store.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they closed. And I think there's a reason why they do that because it was no longer economically feasible.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's coming. As I mentioned before, the student loan moratorium ends on late September. In some states, the rent moratorium ends on August. Unemployment ends this week. I think this is the last week for a lot of people who will not be receiving regular unemployment. So, yeah, big time of is coming, man. I'm mom.
We're in totally uncharted territory, so it's really hard to tell what's next, Manny. But it's interesting, Look, I hope for the best for everybody, and I hate to spread any kind of fear. I just be prepared to hang out for 2 weeks, man. Get a 2-week supply of beans and rice. Okay?
Oh yeah.
Just get a 2-week supply of beans and rice. And then whatever happens, you know that, I mean, if everything fucking shuts off, if the world shuts down because it goes into some kind of fucking conniption fit, at least you have food for a couple days, for 2 weeks, if not more. So, don't. And then what do you really have to worry about? What's going to happen after the 2 weeks? Hey, we get through the 2 weeks, and we always get through the next 2 weeks. All right, it's the way it works.
Yeah.
It's who we are. And shit's always been fucked up. It's just screwier now than ever. And go ahead, Manny.
This is a 9/11 event. This is a 9/11 type of event, and my worst fears is that we're gonna go to war soon. I'm not sure how soon though, but this is a war type event. Whether or not the Chinese were at fault or not, because there's a lot of nuances when it comes to where the virus came from, though.
Yeah.
I feel that eventually we're gonna lead to actual conflict, actual war, and we're not talking about
I think that they're pushing for war very, very hard with China right now.
Yeah, I know. True story, and this is something that you read on the news on business school and economics. You know what led to the United States get out of the Great Depression?
I don't know exactly what you said, Manny. Go ahead, say it.
Do you know how the United States was able to get out of the Great Depression of 1929?
No. How was that, Manny?
World War II.
Oh, okay.
World War II.
I think really all we have to do is legalize cannabis nationwide, and that'll be such an amazing untapped resource that it will bring the United States immediately out of depression.
No,
Yeah,
what I would do if I was in power, I will let the states decide. I was not going to legalize nationwide. I will let the states. You know what? This is no longer a federal issue. This is a state issue. It's up to you to decide. And a lot of states in Washington is going to become.
That's not true, Manny. Look, Manny, as long as some states have it illegal, the black market continues to exist in this country, which it makes it dangerous. The only thing that makes marijuana dangerous is it being illegal. And that creates the black market, and then it makes it dangerous for everyone, whether you're involved with cannabis or not. Okay?
I don't think so, though, because when I was in Boise, I did school in Boise, Idaho. My roommates, instead of going and buying the black market, they just drive an hour away to Oregon just to buy the weed.
Which is what I'm saying. If it was legal, you're not going to go to the black market to get it. Okay? But as long as there's a black market, then there's a river of money. And that river of money goes to fucking, making bad things happen very often.
Well, to a certain degree, you're right. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen, Mark. I feel like we're going to be led to a conflict within the next 5 years.
And we could take that river of money, if we just completely decriminalize cannabis, take that river of money and say, here's this completely untapped market, the most amazing resource on the planet, and it's available to any of you, because all you have to do is plant a fucking seed. Now go do what you people do best and create something fucking beautiful, fucking amazing. Make me proud. And boom, the fucking depression's over, dude. People don't understand the untapped resource that we have here in cannabis.
I see. Anyways, that's all I have to say, Max.
All right, Manny, it's good to hear from you, man.
All right, man. Enjoy.
Right. Talk to you soon. And of course, Manny is afraid. And I'm not making fun of him. I'm just pointing out the obvious. Because he kept saying, I'm afraid this. I'm afraid that. You know what? Bad things happen. Great things happen. Are you afraid of great things happening? Great things happen. Awesome stuff happens. Every day. Right in front of you. It's just a matter of if you want to focus on the bad things or if you want to focus on the awesome things. Okay? Bad things happen. Bad things, dude. But we don't have to. That doesn't have to be the center of your life. That doesn't have to be this fear of what might happen in the coming days. That doesn't have to be the center of your life, because what's happening now is I have a beautiful Boo Bear sitting in front of me. Have a beautiful Seattle day. You know, we went for a lovely walkie earlier before it got too warm. And, you know, we have food. I don't know. I'm not to spread the fear, I don't know what's going to happen, and neither do you, and neither does Manny. Okay? I know he's probably right. Bad things will happen, but I'm also right. Great things will happen. Awesome things will happen. And if we just had proper leadership, we'd get through the bad things so fucking quickly. It's just this bullshit Republican, Democrat garbage. If we had proper leadership, a depression would be nothing. We'd be like, off of me. Get off of me. We don't need you. You're not welcome here. We're moving forward. You go ahead and have your little depression. Okay? Because that's what we do. That's who we are. That's the species. That's why we're still here. We keep moving forward. March or die, motherfucker! I have a jacket that says that on the back. It's a Motorhead. It's a Motorhead patch. It's a big old back patch on the back of my blue corduroy jacket. Said march or die. That's what we do. It's what we've always done. So, and that's not where we're at. And maybe we won't get there. And along the way, many, many awesome and great things are going to happen. We went to the lake on Sunday. It was beautiful. It was packed full of bikinis. It was like, wow, look at this. I mean, no one's social distancing. Hello, caller.
We're all gonna die, Mike. We're all gonna die.
Yeah, you know, these people, they say, oh, I'm dying. And I go, oh, me too.
It's the end of the world, and we're all gonna die, Mike.
I know. Well, it's got to be the end of the world sometime.
Yeah, I was really worried about the planet a long time ago. About the time Fukushima exploded. And,
yeah.
I went to a friend of mine who's, and I told him, hey, I'm really worried about the planet, man. And there's nothing I can do, and what do I do? And he said these really strange words to me, which still stick in my head today. You know, Mike, even planets have karma. And it's just like, you know, I had always considered karma to be like an individual thing, like everybody's got their own karma, and, you know, if you do good things, good karma is going to happen to you, and if you do bad things, bad karma is going to happen to you. But that's not the way it works, man. Karma is a free-for-all. It's a universal, interdimensional free-for-all where you know, you could do a good thing. You throw a frisbee up into the air, and you think it's going to come back down at you. Then the seagull comes out of nowhere, grabs your frisbee, flies away with it, and then poops on you. And that's your reward for doing a good thing. And, so, and that's kind of, you know, karma is a very complex concept. But we do have planetary karma. Cities have karma. Seattle has its own karma. The United States has its own karma.
Well, maybe by doing a good deed, you're fucking with the karma that someone else was supposed to experience, and karma is telling you, get the fuck out of my way.
No, I think karma is a thing which you could possibly, now we're getting philosophical and I'm getting into reincarnation, but you could possibly do all kinds of good things in your life and give and give and give and help people, and you get totally fucked for it, and that could be some kind of karma that it comes at you because number one, maybe you did bad things in a previous life. Number two, maybe you're stupid and you're helping the wrong people. So karma is very complex. Nobody knows about karma. It's like God. Anybody who tells you they know about karma, they're full of shit. The first rule of Karma Club is you don't talk about Karma Club. The first rule of God Club is you don't talk about God Club.
I wish that was the first rule of God Club. God, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be a load off all our fucking ears, huh? Everybody telling me about God.
Well, it'd just make things a lot simpler if everybody didn't have to wear their fucking bullshit religion on their sleeve. You know, constantly virtue is signaling, I'm a Muslim, you know, or whatever, you know.
I read, I study cluster B personality disorders, and I read in a psychopathy website that virtue signalers tend to be narcissists, which is exactly correct. And then I read on a different site something that said people who don't wear masks are more likely to be psychopaths. And so how do you figure out this conflicting story coming at you? Because me, as a semi-expert on the subject, I would tell you that the mindset, the underlying mindset and personality of a narcissist or a psychopath is fear, fear, fear. That's why they develop false personalities. And they're more likely to wear masks than an open-hearted, free-thinking, compassionate, non-narcissistic person. So you got to be really careful. We're definitely...
Well, a narcissist is more likely to conform, aren't they? They're kind of seeking approval, right?
Exactly. They seek approval, and they do it by developing a false personality, which covers up their fear, their shortcomings, their neurosis, their malevolent intentions, all that kind of stuff. That's what the mask is. That's what the false personality is. It's covering up serious personality defects. So you notice the most authentic people, the ones that we like the most, they're actually people who are not afraid to expose their flaws. A narcissist is very afraid to expose his flaws or her flaws. And so that's what it is authentic people can say, oh, yeah, you're right, I need to work on that. That's an area of my life I need to work on. But a narcissist says, I didn't do that. I didn't do anything wrong. I could never do anything wrong. Even it's your fault I did something wrong. So the virtue signalers are more likely to be narcissistic, and the mask wearers are more likely to be virtue signalers. And the people who want to be free from the psyop, maybe they feel uncomfortable wearing masks everywhere they go. They are the ones who are probably more authentic, So, but something, I think maybe last night I told you about the 25 doctors that gathered on the steps of Congress, and they made this big. Every goddamn video within hours was censored and knocked down by YouTube, and you can only find it. Luckily, people were smart enough to copy it, mirror it, put it back up, so you can still find copies. But it was other than that video Plandemic, the 26-minute video introduction. I've never seen anything taken down that quickly. And these are 25 pretty reputable doctors who came out in favor and gave accurate information and statistics on both the pandemic and the hydroxychloroquine. And boy, they do not like that narrative. What else do you need to witness with your own eyes if you follow social media to tell you that the media is weaponized against you, other than all the suppression, all of the YouTube channels getting shut down, Twitter going crazy, censoring people, 7,000 plus Twitter accounts eliminated.
They suspended Donald Trump Jr.'s account today.
I didn't know that. What did he tweet?
I think it had to do with the video that you're talking about.
Oh, good. Yeah, well, that's exactly what I'm saying, man. The doctors who have a differing opinion other than the opinion given by the Anthony Fauci are being totally censored, and they're being called quacks and crazy people, and so we are witnessing the weaponized media swarming us.
And the weaponized medical industrial complex, because if these people know, if these whistleblowers, let's call them doctors, are talking about this, then the other doctors know about it too, but they're not saying anything. They're not helping their patients. They're letting their patients get sick and hope for a vaccine or whatever. You know what I mean? There's what you're saying is that, I mean, it's not just like a few doctors can understand what's happening, right? So besides the conspiracy in the media and the government, because, you know, the government's really not speaking out about it either. You know, Donald Trump could come out and say shit on television, but he doesn't. Donald Trump tweets little shit in the background, thinking, you know, that he's getting the message out to his people. Fuck that, you know. If there's shit going on, then tell us about it, asshole. Otherwise, fuck off. You know. Otherwise, you're a horrible fucking leader.
Well, I got my finger on the pulse of social media, and I have been called a Trump supporter simply because I tell people they don't have to wear masks everywhere they go.
I've been called a Hillary supporter.
Yeah, I know. And today, one of my renters, who gets a great deal off a little cottage for $550, he was telling me, "Oh, well, why do you?" I was telling him, man, and he walks in my house with a goddamn mask every fucking day, every time. And I said, hey, man, I'm going to start throwing yard sales in a couple of weeks. I'm going to need to borrow your phone to take a bunch of pictures. And he says, oh, well, that's not really a good idea during a plague, man, to have yard sales. And I said, listen, they're going to be staying way out in the driveway. They're not even going to be coming close to you. And he's wearing a mask while he's talking to me.
Yeah.
And he was trying to talk me out of having yard sales on my own property because of the plague, right? And so I started getting into it with him and gently. And
well, you don't want to break someone.
Yeah, well, you know me. I can't remember whether this guy's ever witnessed me shooting a hole in my roof when I'm pissed off, but maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I've only done it a couple times, but I'm not known for my gentleness generally. But in any case, he accused me, like you've been accused of being a Hillary supporter. He accused me of being an Amy Goodman fan, you know, and it's like I said, I don't watch Democracy Now! And he says, well, I hear you with Democracy Now! On every morning. And I say, I'm studying the fucking enemy. You know, that's a limited hangout.
What is your problem? Look, I watch. You don't tell me what to watch in my house. Fuck you.
Yeah. What I'm saying is this argument over COVID-19, vaccines, masks, public demonstrations like we got up on the live stream there, and all this other shit. The people seem to be quite divided about it, and there is an intentional media blitz. Like, look, you told me, did Trump's son, the whole account get shut down? Is that what happened?
It got suspended, was what I heard.
Suspended. Oh,
yeah, I don't know if that means it's, you know, I mean, suspended is basically shut down, in my opinion, from my understanding. Yeah.
So, you know, when doctors can't speak the truth, when people who are exposing vaccine injuries can't speak the truth, that means they're going to really try to muscle us into forced vaccinations. And you want to see a fucking protest, you wait for that to fucking happen, man. It ain't going to happen. That will cause a revolution. That will cause a fucking a real revolution. And people are crazy enough. And so what do? Well, during crazy times, you get more centered, you get more grounded, you get more information, you stay cool, and you stay calm. Because it's all
Eat more
mixed
cannabis.
up.
Eat more cannabis. Eat more cannabis.
Right.
That's what I kept hearing you say.
So we're definitely in a media war. You know, it's an info war situation. And I've never seen anything get shut down that quickly. I mean, I still have copies of that 50-minute video from all those 25 doctors, but boy, it was shut. I was talking to you 1 minute, and then I left, and I went on Facebook and YouTube, and all the videos that I had bookmarked have been shut down, and no access anymore. So, but luckily enough, brilliant souls had copied and mirrored the original video so much that it's still up, and you can still find it. But yeah, we're in a. If you don't know the media is weaponized against you, you're stupid. Big Pharma is weaponized against you. The Congress is weaponized against you. The military-industrial machine is weaponized against you. And they're all...
The Justice Department is weaponized against you.
Well, don't even talk about the Justice Department. You could wear the wrong kind of shoes and end up in prison. It's stupid. So, I love my country. I'm a patriot, and everybody just keep cool. I don't know what to talk about other than that, man. But it was pretty remarkable. They shut down that seemingly valid information within hours. It's so quick. I've never seen anything that quick. It was amazing.
It's not amazing. It's disgusting. I mean, they're getting very good at what they do, and they do it with they do it as if I see, again, to me, people who support censorship and do censor people are a threat to all humanity. And I've said that again and again and again before this coronavirus protest, whatever shit ever happened from the beginning. Censorship is a threat to all of us. And it's just disgusting that they do it so openly. And again, this is a threat to all humanity, and the censorship that he's talking about here, that Michael's talking about on the phone, he's talking about these doctors who were on the steps of the Supreme Court, right?
Yeah, either Supreme Court or Congress, some official.
And they held a press conference, and they explained a whole bunch of things, including about hydroxychloroquine, and apparently YouTube, Google, Facebook, Twitter, all these mega social media conglomerates have removed the video, and so it's again. If any of the information is valid, that that hydroxychloroquine, makes it so that you get well if you get sick, then
why would they want to shut that down?
Yeah, why? I mean, how is that not a threat to all humanity? As I'm saying, I want to explain this really clearly.
Okay.
Censorship is a threat to all humanity. If the hydroxychloroquine works, and that's a big part of what these people's press conference was about, then they're censoring that information so that basically pharmaceutical companies can make billions of dollars a year on vaccines, on tests, on other bullshit.
Correct.
And that's incredibly disgusting. And again, a threat to all humanity. So some fucking rich cunts can get more rich. Fuck that, and understand when I say I support freedom of speech, understand why. Because otherwise, it is a threat. If you are a censor, if you think people need to be shut down because they're saying stuff that you don't want to hear, then, you have to understand. Again, freedom of speech, it has this perfection to it. If people say stupid shit, then you hold what they're saying against them. At the same time, if you censor stuff, then it's especially in this format where, the Google, the Twitter, the Facebook, this is the biggest soapbox in the world. People go there to explain things to the world, and then they say, oh yeah, you can't, fuck that. That is a threat to all humanity. So those people that are doing that, understand who they are. They're committing crimes against humanity. Go ahead.
Yeah, two social bodies throughout history were pretty famous for burning books. One was the Catholic Church, and the other was communist. And so that's way before the internet came along. Information was dangerous. The wrong kind of information that presents a danger to our structure, our power base. If you're the Catholic Church, your power base is threatened by certain kinds of information. If you're communist, then you just burn books, because from now on we're going to have communism, blah, blah, blah. And now we have social media. And I would just remind people, Zbigniew Brzezinski, the guy who was instrumental bringing the CIA and weapons into Afghanistan to create and fund the Mujahideen to fight Russia. This famous
Mujahideen, which later became Al Qaeda. Go ahead.
Yeah, this famous New World Order guy, Zbigniew Brzezinski. He said that now the New World Order will never be able to succeed with the internet. So with all this internet censorship, this is basically the powers behind the scenes trying to exert their will on us, the free-thinking people of planet Earth who really want to know the details of what's going on our planet. And we have the tools. The tools is called the internet, but they're suppressing it and shutting it down as a last-ditch effort to protect their power bases, which we've already listed. The big pharma, the military-industrial complex, at all. Everyone. The justice system, the imperialist war machine, everything you can think of. Those are all power bases, and the media acts as the policemen of the world. And all of the suppression of valid information is so that they can keep the public ignorant. The reason the Pentagon Papers was such a big deal in the 70s was the main thing that they didn't want to get out with the Pentagon Papers was that they knew ahead of time, they had already predicted that America would lose 60,000 soldiers going into the South China area, into Vietnam and Cambodia and all those other countries. They had already figured it out. The Rand Corporation had already figured it out. And that guy, I can't remember his name, that stole the papers from the Rand Corporation.
Daniel
Ellsberg. Yeah, Daniel Ellsberg, who would have been killed if it had happened right now. They would have just offed his ass. He went up before the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled that he had the right to release that information. He was the Julian Assange of his day. He had the right to release that information to the public. And the big detail inside that information, those, 3-inch thick pieces of paper, that giant book he shoved down his pants and walked out of the fucking Rand Corporation with, was that McNamara, the Secretary of Defense, already knew that 60,000 American soldiers would die, and that's why Kennedy was killed, because he wanted to pull everybody out of Vietnam and just not go in and be the world's policeman. So they killed him for that. And how many soldiers died? 58,000. The Rand Corporation was right on with its predictions, and Nixon and everybody knew it for 7 years while all the soldiers were dying. So all of the Vietnam protests were completely correct. And what's going on right now with all these people in the street fighting the police state and all the people fighting the justice system, the imperialist war machine, and Big Pharma, and the goddamn fake media, it's all correct. And without public discussion, if they shut down public discussion and certain voices, they're limiting your information base. And we have to have information to know what's going on. And I don't want to be a dummy, so I want every voice to be heard. Even Alex Jones, even though I consider Alex Jones to be a complete fucking nut job, it's not right to shut his fucking voice down. You could just turn it down.
Yeah. It's not right at all. I mean, again, this is the biggest soapbox, in the world Meaning, people would go to the town square and they would put their soapbox down and they'd step up on it and they'd say, "Attention, everyone," and everybody would listen and they'd go, "Howard Johnson is right." Hey, Mike, I got another caller.
All right, take care, bro.
All right. Hello, caller.
Hey, this is Daniel.
What's happening, Daniel? You're still alive.
Is this Michael or is this Craig?
Yeah. You're still alive.
Is this Michael or Craig? I'm sorry. I have bad hearing. I've shot so many guns. I'm a carpenter.
It's Mike.
Is this Michael or? I'm still alive. Yes, I am still alive.
Yay.
So, hey. Yay. Still alive, Daniel. Hey, Mike, I know you hang up on me so quick, so before you hang up on me, if I could just thank you for introducing me to Wayne and Gogo Bordello.
Uh-huh.
It's, because, honestly, I'm not your biggest fan anymore. Actually, I wouldn't call myself a fan anymore, but forever, for eternity, I'm going to be so grateful for you for so many things, and one of the many things will be that you introduced me to Wayne and Gogo Bordello, and I just want to thank you because, goddamn, that is some good music, for sure.
Fucking amazing, dude. If you get a chance to see Wayne or Gogo Bordello in person, oh my God, do whatever it takes to go because it's worth it. I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to get the chance to do that ever again anymore.
No,
but
I think we are. But yeah, no, in a wet dream we are. I have a dream that we will. But it seems unlikely at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But it's
I'm
worth
sorry.
it.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
I've seen Wayne 4 times and Gogo Bordello 3 times, and every time it's been amazing. Yeah.
Were they all in small venue type places, like less than 1,000 or 2,000, or were they bigger?
They have a major music festival in Seattle at the end of the summer called Bumper Shoot, and a bumper shoot being an umbrella, and I saw Gogo Bordello there one year. It wasn't a small venue. I mean, it's a festival, so there's lots of people. And I saw
outdoor. You're saying?
Yeah, that was outdoor. And I saw Ween at Bumper Shoot one year, but that was indoor in the Key Arena, the same arena that the Sonics play in. So.
Okay.
And they were like, "Look at this, man! We're in the Key Arena. Who would have ever thought that?" Ween.
Who are the Sonics? I'm stupid. I'm real stupid. What are the Sonics?
It's an NBA team.
Oh, oh God! So that must hold. I don't know if I've ever been in an NBA arena in my life. How many people does that hold?
I don't know, 25,000. We saw Pink Floyd. We saw Roger Waters there also, not at Bumper Shoot, but at the Key Arena. It's a major venue.
Oh. Awesome. I was ranting to Jenny. I'm a stupid cunt from hell. I rant to Jenny, my wife, sometimes, and I was telling her about my concert days back 20 years ago when I used to go to concerts. But I was telling her about the good concerts and the bad concerts. I don't know. I know you got a lot of good stories, Mike. You're the good storyteller. I'm the bad storyteller. But I saw Tool only one time live, and it was a time at Ozfest in Columbus at the Polaris Amphitheater, where the entire lawn off the amphitheater was ripped off, and the police came out into the amphitheater to stop the people from ripping up the lawn, and the people just pelted the police with the fucking saw at the grass.
Fuck the police.
And Tool was opening up for Ozfest for Ozzy.
Wow.
And it was literally the best concert I'd ever seen when Tool played. Literally, I'd seen a bunch. Woodstock. I don't know. You've seen more than me, but
I've never seen Tool. I've always wanted to see Tool. We saw Ozzy, but let's see, Iron Maiden opened up for him. Not Tool.
No disrespect to Ozzy, but I'll be honest. Ozzy played 2 songs. And most of the venue walked out. I walked out. I think most of the venue did because literally, Tool. Hello, are you still there?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I'm sorry. There was CIA helicopters flying overhead, and I didn't know if the phone got cut off. Yeah, no. Tool fucking brought the house down. It was literally I've seen a lot of cool concerts. I've seen in small.
I'm somewhat
but Tool,
I'm somewhat
I'm
amazed
sorry?
that Tool would open for Ozzy. I would think that it would be the other way around.
Yeah, amen. Well, that's the point. Yeah, goddamn, Jesus, I'm sorry for swearing, but yes, I'm sorry. Everybody hates me. Everybody says, Daniel, we agree with what you say. You just say the wrong words. Okay, I'm sorry for swearing, but yeah, no, Jesus, it was literally the best concert I've ever seen in my life. Tool brought this house down. The whole lawn got ripped off. All the police got pelted with the sod. I didn't lift any sod. I did not turn any sod. I was just there witnessing what happened. But it was literally the best concert I ever saw in my life. We could talk about it for an hour. I mean, it was, you could lay back on the grass and like literally the ground was thumping with like, I've never seen anything so cool in my life. I mean, Metallica was cool. Aerosmith was cool. It was all cool. Mm-hmm. But Tool was the coolest.
Yeah.
And then Ozzy came on, and we listened to one or two songs, and I think everybody said, "Yeah, I think it's been a night. Okay, we're gonna go." And literally, like I think half the amphitheater literally walked out on Ozzy when he was And there's no hating on Ozzy because I love Ozzy too. I mean, I'm not a hater. I just, it just wasn't what it was. I mean, I think we're all ready to go home after Tool played. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Well. Gogol Bordello and Ween is freaking awesome, dude. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Well, thank you, because honestly, my life has been greatly enriched because I have, looked into those. And if you ask me songs, I couldn't tell you the songs because there's so many. But they're beautiful. Like they're fucking beautiful. I mean, especially Gogol Bordello. Like Ween, I've only listened to like 4 or 5 songs. They were all awesome. Everything was cool. Mm-hmm. Gogol Bordello is like. I mean, what the fuck, dude? Is that dude still alive or what? Is he still hanging?
Yeah.
He's still alive, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, fuck, Jesus. He seems really cool. I like him.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're a great band. And super fucking, I mean, like an amazing mosh pit, dude. It's like one of the best mosh pits I've ever been in.
Which one? Who's mosh pit?
Gogol Bordello.
They do mosh pits there?
Yeah.
Gogol Bordello?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a mosh pit type so much.
Yeah, they call it Czech punk. It's a punk. It's kind of a punk rock music. So they call it Czech. I think it's called Czech punk, like Czechoslovakian punk music. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I guess I might be too old to learn this stuff. Yeah, I didn't know the Czech punk. Is he Czechoslovakian? And my wife was listening to this stuff, and she's you don't know this. I told you once, but she lived in Russia a couple times and speaks Russian and stuff. She's an American girl, but she was listening to Gogol Bordello, and she was saying, yeah, that music sounds Slavic or Czech or something. I don't know where it's from.
Yeah, it's called Czech.
Sounds Russian.
They call it
Sounds
Czech
almost
punk.
Russian.
Yeah, it's fucking great music. And Ween, if you get a chance, you want to listen to 12 Great Country Hits, which is an album. And that Nashville, the people in Nashville, like the organization, the music, whatever Nashville organization has said 12 Great Country Hits by Ween is one of the top 5 swing albums of all time. And then there's also Chocolate and Cheese. You want to listen to Chocolate and Cheese for sure.
And I think you told me that once before, one of those, and I'm sorry, I meant to go back. I listened to Ween a bunch, but I list 5 or 6 songs. I don't know. I've listened to more. I need to listen to some more Ween. Gogol Bordello is really cool. Ween, they're both really good. I mean, I like it. So, hey, Mox. So, can I avoid the God conversation and talk about the elections?
It's your dime.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
I didn't hear what you said. You said I'm done or go ahead or what?
It's your dime.
Oh, my time. Oh,
your
thank you.
Dime.
Oh.
Your dime. It's your dime. It's
my dime.
It's an old expression. Nobody says it anymore. People used to say, I keep thinking about all these things that people used to say, stick it, like they'd say, just stick it, instead of like, fuck you, they'd say, stick it. And that meant like just shove that shit up your ass because we don't need it here, but nobody ever says stick it anymore. It's really weird.
I'm sorry, were you telling me an old way of telling me to go fuck myself? I'm trying to understand
I'm
your
just saying
nomenclature.
that there's things that people don't say anymore, like it's your dime. Phone calls don't
Oh, I
cost a
agree.
dime anymore, so people don't say that.
Amen. Well, that's one of the things I love about you, Mox, is that you say things that other people don't say. So that's awesome. Hey, are we talking about the elections, or is that not allowed anymore?
I don't care. Talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Well, I'm wondering. Well, I have a million things to say, of course, but one of the things I wonder is about the elections. Are we gonna have an election? Because
no, I've been telling you for 6 months the election's off. There is no election. It's not gonna happen.
Well, it seems assumed, but that's the part that I just want to call out before all this shit hits the fan. Is it just seems odd that like we're so close to an election in the middle of a pandemic. Well, basically everything seems odd. I mean, I think everybody who has a fucking clue about anything knows that. But everything seems odd these days. But about the elections, I mean, if I could call out one in 1,000 things, can I call out the elections? Jesus Christ, we're coming up in 2020 in the election, the craziest election that ever happened. And I haven't even seen you or anybody even put out hardly any, or no, I'm not hating on you, just so you know, I'm not hating on you. I'm just saying it doesn't seem like anybody's fucking talking about the goddamn election. And I know Trump said, blah, blah, I don't trust the, fucking whatever, mail-in or whatever. And that's cool, I'm not hating on Trump, I agree with Trump. Like, I don't know, what the fuck? It just seems odd that nobody's talking about the election, really. It seems odd.
People are talking about it, but there's no rallies, there's no debate. Normally there would be 2 or 3 debates by now. There's been no debates. There's been no.
I'm sorry.
There's no rallies. There's not all these talking points that people would usually be talking about and discussing what happened yesterday. So that's partially why people aren't talking about the presidential election.
Is there a libertarian candidate chosen?
Yes, there is a libertarian candidate. There's also a very fine. I'm not sure who the libertarian candidate is. Can't think of his name at the moment. It's also a very fine Green Party candidate.
Well, that was my second question. Good. Yeah, but we're not talking about it, are we? So what the fuck, man? Okay, well, hey.
I talk about it. I keep talking about you can't vote for R's and you can't vote for D's. That's all that really matters. That's all that really matters. If you have to say, I will never, ever, 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 for the rest of my life, till my dying breath, never vote for a Republican or a Democrat ever, ever, ever again. I keep talking about it.
Yeah.
I talk about it a lot.
I think I signed that pledge, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago. I can't remember when I signed that pledge. I think I signed that pledge, yes. I think Ron Paul, I was going to change my pledge on that pledge, but, then he didn't make it in the primaries because they shoved a big whatever in his whatever at the well, you remember how you were there. I mean, you were there when it all went down, where Ron won the Iowa caucus, but then everybody said he didn't for 3 weeks, and then
it was for 4 months.
I can't remember how. And then they said, oh, well, technically he won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't announce that until May, and the primaries like in the last week of January or something. So it's like 4 months.
Well, yeah. I mean, so yeah, they basically
let the whole election go, the whole primary voting go all the way through until May, and then said, oh yeah, Ron Paul actually was the winner in the beginning of the race. Who figured?
Imagine that. Go figure.
Yeah.
He was.
So no more Democrats, no more Republicans. That's the answer, because they're the ones who did this. It's not just the Democrats. It's the Democrats keep doing it to the Bernie Sanders supporters. People think, oh, Bernie's different. We can fucking actually get some shit done now. No, it's the same shit. No more R's, no more D's. If they're in that party, I know Bernie has an I next to his name, but it doesn't count because he runs as a D. So no more R's, no more D's, and then we'll solve this problem. We could actually take our government back. If you guys could actually.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. 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 I'm sorry to interrupt you. Amen. Amen. I just wanted to say amen. The only reason I interrupted was to say amen. Hey, mate, if I could say what my vote is, my vote is no vote. And just so you know, my vote is no vote. And I think that this election should have the big no vote that has ever happened in the history of, I don't know, democracy, because this shit show is a shit show. And at some point, the people should say, fuck this shit show. And it seems like the best way to say fuck this shit show is the biggest no vote that has ever been seen ever. But that's just my opinion. I'm just Daniel, retired, dying carpet.
30% of the people who can vote now vote. So, you know, it's like that's almost what they want. It's not like they're trying to get as many people as possible to vote, you know, and making it easier and easier for people to vote. They don't want you to vote, so basically you're kind of buying into their game, which is why I say you have to vote for someone that isn't a Democrat and isn't a Republican. And then you're not playing their game anymore, are you?
Well, I think Vermin Supreme is, or whatever is, I think Vermin is running, and so I think I'll vote for him. But the point is yeah, no vote for the, no, I'm sorry, what?
Vermin Supreme is a great candidate. Vermin Supreme has made clear the greatest terrorist threat facing America is tooth decay, and I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, so, well, anyway. Yeah. Well, anyway, so the point is I say no vote. So I wouldn't, and then, I don't know. I certainly didn't vote for Donald or Hillary in the last election, and I don't know who I'd vote who I'd vote for in this election, but the point is I think it's a vote of no confidence is the point. You say no D's, no R's. I voted for, you know, Ron Paul when he was a primary candidate, and so I voted for an R because it was fucking Ron Paul's name behind it, and I'm not about labels. I'm about the people, and I supported Ron Paul just like you did.
I get
and
that.
So so it's for me. It's not about the label. It's about the person. I think we're on the same page there.
Right.
But basically, yeah. The reason
Ron Paul got fucked in that election was because if he had been a Green Party, the Republicans wouldn't have been able to fuck him. And they didn't really fuck Ron Paul. They fucked all the people that wanted to vote for Ron Paul. So, again, no R's and no D's, because if you vote for an R, let's say you vote for Joe Biden, then these people are going to say, okay, Joe won, and then they're going, oh, Joe's not competent to be president, so Kamala Harris is now president, you know? So, again, they're going to fuck you every way they can. There's no reason to vote for any of them. They've been proven that they're not working for any of us. They don't represent not one of us.
Amen. I Mike, on the parties, amen. I agree with you. The Democratic and the Republican parties can go to fucking hell for sure. But so I'm not opposed to Ron Paul, even though he ran under that label, but I supported him. But the label of the Republican Party can literally rot in hell forever. But it's blah blah. It's all passé. It's all blah blah. I say rot in hell forever. Blah blah. It's just all stupid. It's blah 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 blah.
Right, but basically, you brought it up, man. Yeah, you wanted to talk about the election, dude. So blah 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 back at you.
Well, so about the election, the point is what the fuck? Like, so Mike, it seems to me like this it just seems like a crazy. Well, I told you I think once before. I think since I was 5 years old, this world seemed crazy to me. It seems like at this point, when we're in a pandemic, or whatever you want to call it, but I've had people choking to death in my fucking house, and so I don't know. People, some people say this shit's fake, but when they're choking on their mucus, trust me, it ain't fake. And so, and so we're in a fucking goddamn fucking pandemic. My business is shut down. We're living off the vegetables in our garden. They don't the government pays all the employees, but they don't pay the, business owners. If our business, there's nobody there to pay us that I know of. And I'm not, looking for somebody to pay me, as it were. But the point is we are where we are. And trust me, I have plenty of food in my garden here, so we're not starving. But the point is we are where we are, and it just seems bad shit crazy to me that we're like or I don't know how many, less than 100 days, I think somebody said, we're fucking close to like an election in 2020, and I don't hear anybody talking about like a fucking solution to even like having an actual election. Like the Democratic primaries were shut down in the middle of the pandemic, and like the whole fucking process stopped, and we're like literally not even talking about democracy anymore. And so what we're talking about is like these riots in Portland and Seattle. I'm not a hater on the rioters, by the way. In fact, if you know, I'm a Smashing Pumpkins guy, and like one of my favorite bands of all time is Smashing Pumpkins. And if you know, I could tell you the story.
I really wish I could see Smashing Pumpkins in concert. Also, that's another band I haven't seen that I really wish I could see. Go ahead.
I have never seen Smashing Pumpkins, but they may be one of my top. I don't talk about it much, but in my backpack in high school, I had a like a little thing I drew on it said I'm a sad pumpkin. No. I'm an old Smashing Pumpkins Billy Corgan fan. Well, and then by the way, I don't even know what the fuck he's saying about this right now. It just seems like we should, I don't know, be talking about how we're going to elect the next leader of the free world, which, by the way, I think is all stupid bullshit nonsense, and we shouldn't be leaders of the free world, and all this stupid shit about what Obama said about we're the one indispensable country, and all of that stupid shit about indispensable. I mean, literally, it's just stupid, blasphemous, nonsense bullshit. But, I mean, we would agree that, like, the president, the POTUS of the United States is, like, an important thing. And nobody's even talking about how the fuck we're going to even elect this. Like, how can we go to polls? How can we do this? And, you know, Trump's saying, well, we can't do mail-in. And nobody's talking about it. Nobody. Hey, Mark, it's literally, to me, as foolish as having China say in January of this year that there was, like, a super virus in their country. And we literally weren't even testing or even offering testing for it. For like, I don't know, 4 months or something, like literally 4 months. Like by the time that the news reported in January, the CIA had reported it to the POTUS 2 months earlier. I mean, let's not fuck around about this shit. I mean, I understood that they knew about it by, or at least they were diagnosing cases by at least October. Yeah. Well, yes, October 7th is when I personally went to the fucking ER with my wife when I was choking to death on my own mucus. October 7th was the day I did that, in 2019.
Yeah.
But, sorry, but yes, but the CIA at the very least in November was reporting it to the POTUS. This is a real goddamn thing in November of 2019, And by January, it was being reported on the goddamn news. Like, I was watching it on the news. I was like, oh, yeah, well, I almost choked to death, and my son almost choked to death. And then I'm reading about all these people also who almost choked to death. And the president's saying, oh, no, it'll just pass over. It'll be nothing. So, I mean, yeah. Well, yeah, we lived through that.
Good work, Daniel.
Good work. So what about the elections? What the fuck, man? What are we going to do, man?
I told you.
We're just going to, what did you say? Vote no confidence? Or what did you say? Vote Vermin Supreme? I forgot what you said.
I said no R's and no D's. I don't care who you vote for. Just no R's and no D's. If you vote for an R or a D, we all lose.
You'd be a retard or a dick, or if you voted for an R or a D, you'd be a retard or a dick, huh?
Well, it's, you know, just it's idiotic, man. It's again, this is why I say the best solution would be to end all the parties, because then on election day, instead of voting for a fucking Republican or a fucking Democrat, you'd vote for American, you know. And I think that a lot more people would be interested in participating then.
Amen. Hey, Mox, would you give me 30 seconds to apologize to you, brother? No?
Go ahead. Say what you want to say, Daniel. It's your dime.
Hey, Michael, please don't hang up on me, brother. I'm not your hater. I'm your lover, brother. About God and the he's and the she's and stuff, you know, I thought a lot about what you had to say. I've actually seen a lot. I've seen a lot. I've had these little things go on in my head. I see these things and stuff. And I just appreciate what you have to say about the he and the she thing.
Uh-huh.
You know, sometimes it seems like we shouldn't be some fucking dickholes to each other, and I guess sometimes I may be the biggest dickhole, and I'm sorry if I was ever a dickhole to you. But, you know, I get this whole thing about non-binary God. Well, basically, if you wanted me to write a school paper on it, I could basically write you a 1,000-page paper on it, because I've seen what the text says on it. I see what the words say on it. I see what everybody says about it, and I get what people say. And I think there's a good point to, you know, not calling, you know, God a he, or not being that, like, binary. I like, Mox, if you gave me 1,000 pages, I could write 1,000 pages about why what you say, and I appreciate what you have to say. Sometimes it just seems like it's hard the way you come across, but I appreciate you saying what you have to say.
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, if I don't want to defend myself because I don't want to be a cunt, but you know that, like, if you listen to a 5-year-old talk to you, say, well, look, the reason I said what I said is because, you know, when I saw him, he was a he. I saw the two of them, and they were he's. And I saw him like the prophet saw him, and the prophets always call him as he's. And so, you know, that's why I did that. But I also get the other part of the equation, and I understand that part too. And, you know, and I could learn, and I get there's things that I don't know, you know. And so just be patient with people, Mox, yo, and
I try.
So thank you. Sorry for being 5 years old, Mox. I'm sometimes, and sorry when little 5-year-old lions are 5-year-old lions. Sometimes they growl a little bit, even if they don't know what they're doing. So forgive us for doing that sometimes.
The little, you know, the little tiger at the end of the show, who jumps out and scares the big tiger.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
The big tiger jumps out of its skin, and the little tiger looks at it, and it goes, "What the fuck, dude?" And then starts to walk away.
I love tigers. I love that. I love that part of the end of the show. So.
All right, Daniel.
Hey, I'm worried about the election. Thank you. I know you got to go. I know. Hey, thank you for taking my call. I'm insufferable, but thank you.
Glad to hear you're still alive.
Well, maybe for a day or two longer. I got a snake choking me inside. I'm very sick, just so you know. If anybody has any prayers left in them, say a prayer for me if you got one. So.
All right, it's good to hear from you, Daniel.
Thanks, Michael. Hey, bless you, brother.
Bye. That's our buddy Daniel from Ohio. I believe from Ohio. Uh-oh. Let's see what we got here.
Take this call.
Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello. Can't hear you. Are you talking? I can't hear you. Are you talking? They hung up. Daniel's call was quite pleasant. It's nice to know that he's still alive, right? Yay. It's unfortunate he had to begin the call by explaining that he was no longer a fan, but that he had to thank me anyways. No, if you're not familiar with the band Ween, W-E-E-N, you are missing out. Again, my two favorite albums, I believe, are Chocolate and Cheese and 12 Great Country Hits. Ooh, so good. But one of the trivia about Ween is that during the Beavis and Butthead series that came on during the 1980s, Beavis and Butthead played more on that show. They played music videos from MTV. It was an MTV show. And Beavis and Butthead played more Ween videos than any other band. So those guys knew good music when they heard it. We push the little daisies and we make them grow up. I don't believe that's on either of the albums that I recommended. You can wash my balls with a warm wet wag. With a warm... Love those guys. The first time I saw him, that 12 Great Country Hits must have first come out, and I went to the concert by myself, and it was a pretty small venue, maybe 1,000 people, probably not quite that many, probably more like 500, and uh, there was people walking around in cowboy boots and cowboy hats, going, yeah! I was like, uh-oh, I might have come to the wrong concert. That was the first time I saw him. But ooh, that was great stuff, man. Let's see. I am wondering. Oh, if anybody wants to call, number is 805-669-6397. I'll be happy to take your call. We can talk about whatever you like. The presidential election. We can talk about Portland. We can talk about Gestapo Stormtroopers. The election's off. I mean, that's, in my opinion, that's what's happening. I understand today at the hearing in which the Attorney General Bill Barr testified under oath, he refused to say if the president had the authority to change the date of the election. He refused to answer that question. So, in my opinion, they're setting up something sinister and diabolical when it comes to the election, and they have been for a long time. I'm pretty sure from day one, Donald Trump was like, "Hey, can we use this plague thing for the election?" Pretty sure that's the kind of guy Donald Trump is. I mean, look at him. He's sending federal troops out to cities that don't want them there. Gestapo Stormtroopers, tactical force, tactical teams, Department of Homeland Security tactical teams to Seattle, to Portland, because it's entirely a election time ploy, and it's disgusting that you put the cops who he loves so much. The cops, we love our cops. You put them into harm's way, and then putting them into harm's way puts a whole bunch more people into harm's way. So it's pretty disgusting that that's the way he uses people, as if they are pawns on a chessboard. Pretty disgusting, I mean, I can't stand seeing our soldiers used as pawns, as cannon fodder. And I don't want to see the police either used that way. Or the people.
I wanted to take this call.
Hello, caller.
Hey, Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Who is this?
This is Clay from Texas.
Hey, Clay, it's good to hear from you. Thanks for calling, man. What's going on?
Hey, man. Well, I had to call because I just feel like you're wrong.
About what?
About this. I feel like you're wrong about the motive behind why coronavirus has been rolled out, like it's some kind of, Trump conspiracy theory to throw the election off.
Mm-hmm.
When clearly it's a fake virus conspiracy that's been perpetrated by Trump's enemies. And I personally feel like it's at least part of a multi-pronged attack by these satanic pedophile elites to distract. I mean, it's not that they didn't plan on trying to overthrow the United States. It's just now that they don't have a choice.
Okay, so is William Barr part of the satanic cannibal pedophile elite?
I don't know. I mean, he's a politician, and these people, as far as I'm concerned, this is all a kabuki theater.
Well, it was
like,
Attorney General William Barr was Jeffrey Epstein's attorney for at least 2 years.
Okay.
And Donald Trump knows this, and he appointed him to be, the Attorney General of the United States. So are you sure that Donald Trump isn't part of the pedophile cannibal elite cabal? I mean, how is it that he escapes that? I mean, really.
I'm not, 100% sure, and I almost don't really care, because it seems to me like any time that this is brought up by a, goose-stepping leftist, around a goose-stepping leftist, I should say, it always goes back to, well, Trump, here's a photograph of Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't care. What about all the other people that we know about too?
Okay,
I mean,
let's talk about them. Ivanka Trump, Melania Trump, let's see, Chelsea Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, you know, all these
Barack
people.
Obama,
Yeah, Barack Obama. Fucking Barack Obama was the worst fucking president, political
Tom
disappointment of my lifetime, okay? I had zero hope for Donald Trump. I had zero hope for fucking W. But, you know, Barack Obama, you know, kind of made it seem like maybe he wasn't like the other guys. Okay? But he was. He was exactly like them, and he belongs in prison just right alongside all of them.
Mox, I was watching your videos that you uploaded in 2008. I was following Ron Paul back then.
Me too.
And there was never, in my mind, never a glimmer of hope from Barack Obama.
Well,
I mean, he was fake as hell from the get-go. Now it's turning out.
Well, no, there was a glimmer of hope because he was running against. He was running against him. He was running against Hillary Clinton. Okay, and he fucking beat her. This black man out of nowhere. Okay, so you know, beats this professional, already been in the White House politician who people were saying it's her turn. Okay, so it wasn't that he was nobody, and it wasn't just me. The whole world hoped that he was what he was saying, which was something different from these other people. Okay, so
right,
you know, and I was all about Ron Paul. Ron Paul has always been great. Not was, always has been, always will be.
Well, he was the anti-war guy, and that's why his argument was bulletproof.
Yeah, I agree.
Led back to being the true moral high ground, which was that we shouldn't be going around killing all these people. Now we're officially in clown world, where we've got, you know, rooftop snipers protecting people that are on the sex offender list as pedophiles, dressed up as hypersexualized sex clowns, roaring like they're possessed by demons in front of children, like that's normal or something. You know, science is turned inside out, and nothing makes sense anymore. It's all a big fucking joke. And there are people that are still out there trying to, you know, to keep this false illusion of reality alive. And it's time to stop. We have to point the finger at the right people. The people that are gaslighting everybody, like the actual media.
The right people are the media. The right people are the rich. The right people are the media. The right people are all the politicians who have an R or a D next to their name. Those are all the people that must go to prison. They're evil doers, and they do it in your name, and they do it in my name, and I'm tired of it. They do it in the good name of America. Fuck those people.
We've got Hollywood people. We've got, you know, CEOs of these big companies like Elon Musk, for instance. I don't believe he's real. I believe his whole company's fake. Well, not that they're not making cars. It's just a controlled opposition of technology that they can still, you know, that they can keep control of the transition to take continuity of power over the energy industry if there's ever a change from oil and gas. We've got this fake-ass electronic Tesla shit. Tesla's blowing rockets like we're still doing outer space stuff. He's giving everybody all this false hope because it's all just propaganda. And this is the result of having our enemies in charge of us.
Yeah, I think that the people we have that's what I've been saying for years, is that we have to recognize the real enemy. Okay, we have to stop all this bullshit with the fucking Republicans and Democrats. None of them are going to get us out of this, clearly. So we have to just, you know, no more voting for either one with an R or a D next to their name ever, with extreme prejudice, no exceptions. And then we can fucking actually take our government back.
But, I mean, here's my question is I personally don't want to share a government with people that are racially obsessed with the past, and they have some kind of sadomasochistic fetish where they want to get down and lick people's boots because they're black. I don't want to negotiate.
Well, you have some fucking false fear that you want to fucking bring up as
no,
that's the reality. That's not the reality. That's not what. No one's asking you to do that. That's not the reality. That's some fucking person's fantasy that he made happen or she made happen. Okay? So
Disgusting.
what?
It's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Well,
If
whatever.
people
They
need to-
have the right to have their fantasies. No one talks. I'm not here to talk about how your fantasies are disgusting. So, you know what? People can have their fantasies. Let them have their little fantasies.
Okay, well, I guess what I'm saying is that for people to be programmed to hate themselves to such a degree that they just can't, that's what they feel that they have to do. It brings to light, how did this type of stuff really transpire? And then, there's a reason why there's a certain group of people you can't talk about that keep getting brought up. I mean, I feel like everybody in this country is gaslit, and I feel like Black Lives Matter is they're groomers who are doing damage control for elite pedophiles by distracting everybody with their little George Floyd bullshit.
Well,
Pardon my...
It's really not. What's going on in Portland and Seattle really isn't about George Floyd and or Black Lives Matter. I mean, that's kind of a periphery thing. What we're talking about is a broken justice system where pedophiles and cannibals get away with shit because they're rich. And then we put them in charge of the justice system, like William Barr, which is what Donald Trump did. So don't buy any of this bullshit that Trump's not part of it. Okay? William Barr, and then magically fucking, Jeffrey Epstein kills himself. Oh, too bad. Oh, magically all the cameras went out at the same time. Oh, magically none of the guards were fucking conscious when it happened. And nobody gets fired. It's just a bunch of bullshit, dude. And that's the government that we have. It's the government we've had a long time under Barack Obama, Joe Biden, fucking Dick Cheney, fucking Donald Trump, and Mike Pence. That's the government that we currently have. And I'm disgusted by it. And I want to burn it to the motherfucking ground. Okay?
Well,
I'm willing to try this thing where people vote for no R's and no D's. But you know what happens if we do that? The R's and the D's will get together and vote the election null and void. I'll bet you money. Okay?
Here's the problem.
Yeah, go ahead.
The dangerous part about burning it all to the ground, and this is what the people of Seattle are learning right now, is that when you burn it all to the ground, now all of a sudden it's kind of like being out at sea, right? You're a sovereign at sea now. I mean, so there is no document like you've thrown the Constitution away, so how can you fall back on that and say, what about my rights?
No, we didn't throw the Constitution away. Fucking Barack Obama, George Bush, and Donald Trump threw the Constitution away, not the people. The people stood up and exercised their constitutional rights and burned the shit to the ground to say, okay, now we can get it right this time. Okay? Because what's happening is a bunch of bullshit and completely unconstitutional. And it's happened on all those people's watch, and they just shred the Constitution. It's not the American people. They swear an oath to say, I will protect against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and then they sign fucking Patriot Act, and they sign fucking shit that lets the NSA listen to us all, and they fucking and they look at you and they say, you can't say that about Israel. Your free speech does not exist when it comes to Israel. Okay?
Oh, you can't even get government assistance. I live in Houston. There's a small town called Dickinson. I'm sure you're aware. They made not very far from where I'm at. And literally, they wouldn't give hurricane aid out if you did not swear you wouldn't talk bad about Israel. Common story.
Disgusting.
So, yeah, I mean, and I feel like that in itself is obviously a big clue to why everybody is so miserable. And I think that really the best thing we can do, as long as we just continue to talk, and I don't want to be religious. I'm actually reading a book called Snow Crash right now. I'm a big fan of Terrence McKenna and glossolalia and all kinds of interesting stuff. And what I'm about to say is that even in the Bible, God creates the world with a word, and the power of speech is probably one of the most important things that we have. And we have to continue to talk about these people and about the evil that they're doing. And I believe through that, we will manifest the justice that they need, that they deserve. they're going to get it. That's what I'm saying, Michael.
I agree. We have to talk, and that's why I say that censorship is such an evil threat to us all. You know, censorship is a threat, is a crime against humanity. You know, it's like, oh, you can't handle this information. And it's worse than that. I mean, they're censoring shit so that rich people can be more rich. You know, so so many evil people can stay in power. It's just disgusting. You know, and everybody's in on it. The Facebook, the Google, the Twitter, they all conspire to do it like immediately, all together at the same time. It's fucking again. Those are crimes against humanity. Those people are evil doers.
Exactly. And meanwhile, you know, the internet, there's 12-year-olds are just a few keystrokes away from a bottomless pit of internet porn, and that's free speech.
It is free speech. Of course it's free speech.
It is. I don't think it is free speech. I think that what we're talking about, when we're not allowed to talk about...
Again, look at free speech. The First Amendment isn't there to protect speech that we all agree it should be protected. Okay? It's there to protect all speech. Okay? So don't give me this fucking, well, no, that doesn't qualify bullshit.
But lewd acts are not speech.
It does. That's your opinion. Okay?
I mean,
and your opinion shouldn't be... No, your opinion shouldn't have anything to do with what is and isn't free speech. Free speech exists or it does not. And clearly, you are not a supporter of it.
I am. I don't believe porn is free speech.
That's incorrect. In a whole bunch of different ways. In a whole bunch of different ways, that's incorrect. Opinion. No, it's not my opinion. It's fucking Supreme Court rulings.
Well, I mean, you know, the Supreme Court's not always right.
You're absolutely right about that, but that's what it is. They said it is, and they're not fucking free-thinking assholes. Okay, speech is speech. These are people expressing themselves. Okay, and for whatever reason you're threatened by that. You know, it's too bad, again, that you want to side with the people who commit crimes against humanity by censoring free speech.
Porn is chemically castrating 20-year-old young men.
No, it's not.
It absolutely is.
No, it's not.
It's science, Michael.
It's fucking idiotic. Chemically castrating. My friend. That's fucking idiotic, dude.
It's not idiotic, Michael. Look at the science. Go to yourbrainonporn.com. It's very damaging to you.
No.
Very damaging.
That's a load of bullshit. It's actually empowering and it helps people to understand their full potential to enjoy their lives.
The performers are used up and tossed out like trash. The victims are the viewers. The true victims are the viewers. It reprograms or rewires their brain. It hijacks their dopamine reward system. Totally fucks.
So does YouTube. So does Facebook. So do likes and dislikes.
But YouTube and Facebook aren't going to give a 20-year-old kid erectile dysfunction, right? And that's what's happening to these young people. Porn is fucking them up. Man.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
It is true.
It's not fucking true. I got my first Playboy when I was 9 years old, and I had him fucking every day since then, and I guarantee you I don't have erectile dysfunction.
Michael, are you married? Do you have a wife? Do you make
No, I don't have a wife. I don't have money. Those things cost money. In case you didn't know that. Michael, in case you don't live in the real world.
No, I do. You don't. You're acting like an addict. You're behaving like an addict right now who's being confronted with his addiction.
Oh, really? Which addiction is that? Which addiction is that I have now?
Perhaps pornography and masturbation, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Don't knock masturbation. It's sex with someone I love.
Fair enough, but... You know, I don't think
no buts. I mean, look, the truth is, I don't have a woman because I don't have money. I don't have I can't stand the fucking soap opera, okay? I just want to enjoy this plate of food. And yet, if there's a woman sitting across from me, every fucking thing in the world is wrong. And it's either my fault or I have to solve it. And all I want to do is enjoy this fucking plate of food, okay? I don't have the time for the bullshit.
Do you hear how angry you're getting thinking about women? And this is
You don't
very, very
understand my experience, okay? Also,
important.
I don't want to be in love with someone and then us argue all the time. Okay? You don't understand my experience. My experience is that I want to do everything for this person because I love this person so much, and then all we do is fight and cry, and it's horrible. And I don't want that in my life anymore. Okay? So you go ahead and you fucking live your life the way you want, but stop judging others.
I'm not judging you, Michael. I'm trying to help you.
No, you're not. You're trying to fuck. God damn it. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. I didn't want to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to save you from something that is literally it's a form of bondage, for lack of a better word. It holds us back. It holds us down. It fucks us up, and then it gives us a less experience than we should have had in life when we use something like that. And it does hijack our brain and sabotage men when it comes to women. It's very damaging stuff. And it's such a difficult addiction to break, but it's doable.
Okay.
And I implore you, Michael, to look it up. YourBrainOnPorn.com.
I'm not interested.
Love yourself the right way, my brother.
Hey, you know what? I don't tell you how to love yourself, do I?
Just telling you, man. I'm not trying to, command you. I'm just, giving you a pro tip here. Love yourself the right way, man. Honor yourself.
Again, by you saying the right way means I'm doing it the wrong way. Fuck you. Okay?
Well,
you're here judging me as if somehow you're a better human than me and you know the better way. And I'm doing it the wrong way. Fuck you.
Well, there is a better way, and that's through,
It's your fucking way is not the better way, asshole. Okay? No, it's not. Fuck you. Is there some part of fuck you that you don't understand?
I mean, no, I just feel like you're lashing out at me. You're angry because I'm exposing something.
Because you're telling me I'm living my life in the wrong way. As if somehow you're entitled to that opinion. Fuck you.
Do you feel that way about people that you consider maybe racist?
I don't know. I want people to live their lives the way they choose. And you know what? I honestly wish there was restaurants that say white only on them. And you know why? Because the people who want to have those kind of restaurants, black people should want to know who they are. So that they're not fucking suckered into having dinner in their restaurant. So that they're not somehow the racist cook behind the fucking counter isn't messing with their food because that's the piece of shit that he is. Okay? So, yes, I wish people could live their life the way they want. Okay? It's much freedom. There is a perfection to freedom. And for whatever reason that you don't accept that, whatever. Good luck with that. Good plan.
You've got this like George Carlin, Bill Hicks, there's a rich old white guy smoking a cigar. Getting paid, point of view. And in actuality, the people that are probably messing with your food are like the black people at the fast food.
I would rather stand with Bill Hicks and fucking George Carlin than you any day of the week, so we're clear.
Well, neither of those guys are really, very cutting edge when it comes to thinking as far as, that kind of stuff. Because, they're really just blame Whitey.
Yeah, that's all that they did. You got them so nailed.
Fuck,
dude, you have issues, and you want to look at me and tell me I have issues? Fuck you.
No, I don't.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Okay, I want people to live their lives. I believe in freedom wholeheartedly. Okay, and that means yes, porno is freedom of speech. Clearly, as I've said, the Supreme Court has ruled it is. And there's a lot more that goes into it than just sex and penetration. There's all this artistic endeavor that goes into making porn. So people can say that it's art, too. Maybe erotic art, but again, there's nothing wrong with eroticism. You want to know what there's something wrong with? Is 5-year-olds who every day pick up a gun and they go out and they shoot people. and they go and steal cars, and they fucking go and rape hookers. Okay? You think there's something wrong with that? Because there's 5-year-olds who do that every day, day after day, on their fucking game consoles. And somehow, two people sharing pleasure is an obscene thing, and it's disgusting, and it fucks up your life. But this programming where you pick up a gun and go shoot somebody and go steal a car, you pick up a gun, where you see movies where people are being tortured, see television shows, Homeland Security, where people are being tortured in order to justify the torture that actually goes on by this government. Yeah, but two people sharing pleasure, that's disgusting. That fucks up your brain. Don't you know that? There's something seriously, seriously wrong if that's what you believe. That two people sharing pleasure, or 3 people, or 6 people, or however many people, is obscene, fucks up your brain. But people, watching violent act after violent act after violent act on television shows, on movies, committing violent act after violent act after violent act on video consoles. That's perfectly fine, right? We're not going to take that away from anybody. But man, that fucking porn, we all know that's not freedom of speech. I've dealt with your kind. Again, I believe in freedom. I believe in freedom of speech. I want people to say what it is they want. Okay? I don't want to hear people judging me. Fuck you. Okay? I live on $600 a month. You can't have a woman and live on $600 a month. Okay? And again, I really just want to enjoy the plate of food. And if there's a woman there, this is wrong and that's wrong and all these things are wrong. And if it's someone I care about, all these things are wrong. So I'm like, this is horrible. I don't know what to do to make it right, because I want to make it right for that person that I love so much. But I can't. No matter what I do, it just winds up yelling, arguing, and crying. No matter how much I love, no matter how much I try to make it right, it never works. So, I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to put another woman through that again. Okay? Maybe someday I'll get a buddy who wants to come over on Tuesdays and Thursdays and hang out, order a pizza, put on whatever kind of crazy pornos we can find, see how much we can get each other off. But I'm not interested in any kind of a permanent, this is it for the rest of our lives. I mean, I want my friends for the rest of my lives. But again, I can't do this every meal thing where I just want to live. I just want to be happy, because I'm a happy guy. I'm a happy guy. And in my opinion, it's pretty easy to be happy. Again, song in your heart and a smile on your face, and you're way ahead of the game. And that's where I'm at, 85-90% of the time. So, on $600 a month. So, and $500 of that goes to rent. Okay, so I'm going to play a quick video here, and I'll be right back. I got to go check. I heard a bump in the night. Let's see. There was a big fentanyl bust in the Seattle area, and they were talking about how it could kill like so many people. Remember, they used to do this with the they've done this all along. This is part of the drug war. Oh, this could kill the whole city, the whole population. I thought that was kind of interesting. I'll be right back.
19 $1 million. That's how much investigators say the drugs were worth after a weekend bust in the North Sound. But it's also not your run-of-the-mill drug.
Yeah, that's right. You've heard of fentanyl. It's exponentially more powerful and dangerous than most other opioids. Investigators say the sheer amount that was recovered has the capability of killing 700,000 people. Q13's Steve Kiggins is learning more this afternoon and joins us live. Steve?
Yeah, Jamie, I just got off the phone with the public information officer for the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office. She tells me this fentanyl bust is the largest of its kind ever in county history. And this all came about back on Saturday when we had investigators make a bust at the Arlington airport. They arrested a man and a woman after they found drugs in their car, but they really had no idea what they were going to find until they searched their Linwood home. Now, why this is such a big deal, fentanyl is especially dangerous because it can be fatal with just a very small amount. Deborah Saverin's love for her son is eternal. 17-year-old Gabe Lilienthal died last September from an overdose. The opioid pill he took had been laced with fentanyl.
But he was my son, you know, and I love him. Like, in every particle of my being is just filled with my love for him. And now I have a relationship with him that goes on in a different form.
Gabe was a straight-A student in Ballard and planned to study business and finance at an Australian college. But his dreams and his life were cut short.
It's just one of the many, many pandemics that are going on our planet.
The majority of fentanyl we believe right now being sold on the street looks like a prescription pill.
Caleb Bantagreen, the principal research scientist at the UW Alcohol and Drug Abuse Institute, says counterfeiters can press laced drugs into pill forms that look identical to drugs prescribed by your doctor. And finding these drugs laced with fentanyl on the streets is happening even more often.
Vicodin, Percocet, morphine, those are all measured in milligrams, thousandth of a gram. And fentanyl is measured in micrograms. It is much, much more potent substance.
This is the home where investigators made that massive bust last weekend up in Linwood. Police say the drugs were valued at around $19 million. Inside, they found 1,400 grams of fentanyl, 800 grams of heroin, 12 grams of meth, a pair of firearms, and other materials, including presses to manufacture and sell the drugs. An investigator wrote in the report they found enough fentanyl that had the power to kill 700,000 people.
It's just a really dangerous time out there. And then there also can be challenges right now for people accessing care.
This is nothing to mess around with.
Gabe's mom is channeling the pain of his death into outreach, working with the city to craft education programs to spread the dangers of fentanyl, all to remember the humor, adventurous spirit, and compassionate heart that Gabe shared with so many, and so others know the risk of what's at stake.
We have crossed the line in so many things in our world. This is an example of that. This is like, there's no fairness in it. You know, there's no chance.
So the man arrested in this case, according to court records, revealed that he's also a convicted felon. Now, both the man and the woman in this case, they've not been officially charged with a crime. That's why we've not named them. Meanwhile, a fentanyl overdose can be reversed. That's important to know. If you have Narcan or even naloxone nearby, but it's got to be done quickly. There's a whole bunch of resources we're going to share with you on our website. Go to Q13Fox.com and check out this story. Steve Kiggins, Q13 News.
Right. I thought that was crazy. That's again this drug war, reefer madness media. You know, they say like, that much fentanyl could kill 700,000 people. We can't end the drug war. What are these people crazy? End the drug war? That little pile of fucking powder could kill 700,000 people. We can't end the fucking drug war. Goddamn reefer madness media. Fucking hate them. I especially hate the local doing that shit like that. Because they should be serving their people. And the people want freedom. And the quickest way to defunding the police and getting our freedom back is to end the fucking drug war. So stop your reefer madness reports. We're not buying it anymore.
press 1 to take this call.
Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Hey, this is David from New York. I just wanted to I just have a short take on everything that's all happening today, including that video you just played.
Uh-huh.
It's very interesting because one of the forces that got sent to Seattle and Portland is BROTAC. And BROTAC is Border Patrol Tactical Units.
Mm-hmm.
And the Border Patrol Tactical Units are the guys that, you know, they have this autonomy back and forth across the border.
Huh.
And they can chase that. So these are drug units. Like,
yeah.
They're totally the DEA. Like, they know where everything is. And what an amazing coincidence. 700,000 people, right? I mean, what a stupid number to put out there.
Yeah.
Like, this is, like, is there even 700,000 people that would take fentanyl?
Right.
I don't know. Like, what's going to happen? Are they slipping it into people's drinks at the bars? I don't know. The bars are closed. They can't even slip it into the drink. But, yeah, the Border Tactical Units, that's the unit that got pulled out. So what an amazing thing. And what do bullies do when you finally kick their ass out? What do? They always, oh, you know, they throw a shoe or, you know, smack somebody in the face on the way out, right? They always kick and scream on the way out. And so what a coincidence that the same day that Barr is questioned in front of, you know, Congress, and then so he can walk in there with a, you know, what he thinks might be a clean face, and he pulls the BORTAC out of, you know, Seattle and Portland. I don't know if it's out of both cities, but, you know, it was said that it was pulled out of Seattle. I'm pretty sure it probably pulled out of fucking Portland too, because those dudes are nasty, dude. Those are the dudes that are wearing the military uniforms. Those are the dudes that the military's going, oh, no, don't put on fatigues and go into the streets acting like you're active duty military. It's not. There was a discussion today about, well, is it stolen valor? It's not stolen valor. It's impersonating the military. That's not the military. These guys are not military.
Yeah.
And, you know, the guard units had to be set straight on that shit earlier, too. There was a big thing because, and I don't know how these discussions get started. It can only be because leadership is not properly training. They're not properly conveying messages. They're supporting a president and they're sending a message instead of do the training that you're supposed to do. They didn't. These guard units were thinking, oh, yeah, we are the military. And it's like, no, you're not. You're not the military. The guard units work specifically for the governors. So make sure you know your chain of command. But, yeah, what a coincidence that on the same day Barr testifies, the units are pulled out of Seattle and they announced this big drug bust that could have killed 700,000 people. I don't think we could produce, even if we worked night and day, we couldn't produce enough acid to kill 700,000 people. I mean, if, you know, fentanyl. And where is that shit coming from, by the way? How did they get a hold of fentanyl? Well, that's opiate, right? So, byproduct of Afghanistan.
It's a synthetic. I don't think it has anything. I don't think there's any opium in it, but it's a synthetic.
No?
Yeah, it's a synthetic opium, from what I understand.
Yeah. Still a big question in my mind. Where is all the opium going?
Going to the streets of America.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So there is opium out there, and it's what, you know, this is just the tail end of this huge coincidence that when we go into Afghanistan, we are attacking some country that never attacked us. I've never been attacked by somebody from Afghanistan. Do you feel threatened from somebody, you know, by Afghanistan people? No. As far as I can see, every time they show the camera on them, they can barely afford ancient rifles from World War II.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'm threatened. I'm not threatened by these people, and I don't think they hate anybody that far away. I mean, I just don't feel so. It's ridiculous, and everybody knows it. One report I got from Afghanistan is that our troops were on the ground there, forcing people to pay taxes. In other words, there are several countries in the world where people just live there. They just live there.
Yeah.
And they don't recognize any government. They don't pay taxes. It's like, no, dude, I've lived here. My family's lived here for 3,000 years. We're not paying you any taxes. Get the fuck off our land, And that exists in the world today. Maybe a lot of Americans might be like, whoa, that's really weird. I've never heard of such a thing. But it actually exists. And there's people that live on the earth and they don't answer to anybody. They are free. And that's freedom. And we're killing those people. We're being sent to kill those people and train them to pay taxes. And from what I gather, it's not going super well. But
yeah, I wouldn't think so. Because those people, I was talking about right before the war started. I remember seeing a photograph of like these Afghan warrior guys, right? And they had, they had their rags that they wear, and they all had like long guns and shit, like you're talking about, and there was a signpost, right? And they were all kind of around the signpost, and it said, USA, 3,200 miles, Moscow, how many miles in China, Beijing, and all these different signs, right? Pointing every direction. Mm-hmm. And then in front of them, there was a sign that said, "We welcome our new invaders."
yeah. Like these people, one of these images that you get from this war, it's like beyond Vietnam. Like, it's like, it's in Afghanistan. They're like, oh yeah. Oh, we've been waiting for you to liberate us. Oh, welcome to our village. The bad guys are that way. And meanwhile, they send them right into an ambush. And it's beautiful. I mean, I don't want to make light of, guys getting killed, but at the same time, it's like, look, if you don't understand what you're doing and you don't understand the people you're dealing with, it is kind of funny when they defend themselves in a very simple way without expending a lot of energy and without expending a lot of, military hardware, and just simply being who they are and just not really. They can pretend to listen to you, but they don't really have to. It's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
What if some guy came into your house?
If you're an invader, I don't want to see people die. I don't wish for soldiers to die. I think soldiers are getting the short end of the stick all the time.
They have no idea.
Yeah, but I think that if you're the invader of another country, it's like see how it's working out for them in Portland. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And these people aren't even shooting back yet, right? So,
dude, I think Portland does not need guns. Portland has just demonstrated. Control. Portland has just demonstrated to the world who's in charge.
Who's streets?
And they own the streets, baby. They own the streets. And it's like, these are our streets. And the other night when I was watching your feed, and I'm looking at the crowd and I'm going, man, that big, large image when you put it up on the, when you put the whole image up, and it was like, oh my God. And I was like, yes, that's all you need to do. What a simple thing. And now they have to go home. That's what sent them home, is that big crowd. Because they knew if any part of that fence comes down, that building is overrun, and there's nothing they can do short of a bloodbath that is never going to work out for them at all. Because every dude that's shooting would have been, when it gets like that, no, those dudes with those guns are going to be taken into custody by the people. And so they got no recourse at that point. They were lucky. They were lucky that no part of that fence went down, because I was sitting there thinking, man, if any part of that fence goes down, they're going to pour in it's on.
Well,
and those guys backed off.
They've torn the fence down a few times. They take pieces of the fence and they block the doors and the exit, and they have these little murder holes that they pop out of in the side of the side of the building. They take pieces of the fence and they block it. They block the murder holes and they block the doors so they can't come out after them. It's freaking awesome.
Those are the murder. Yeah, that's the real murder hornets coming out of the murder hole.
Yeah.
It's the guys locked up in the federal building. It's like, it was a beautiful thing to see. I think that it inspired a lot of military people.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what I think a lot of people in the military want to see, because it feels like, okay, the people are behind what we really think, and now maybe we can change our commander's mind, you know, because when you go, I don't know, it's difficult for people that haven't been in the military, but when you go in, it's not, you've got an intention, and that intention really doesn't have a whole lot to do with what's going on. It's the way you're trained, the things you read, the things you're taught is very, it's, you're taught that you love the people, you want to defend them. It's an instinct.
Yeah.
You're part of any group of animals.
You're the good guys. You're there to help.
Any even in a herd of deer, there's 2 or 3 of the bucks who, you know, they don't have breeding rights, but they're gonna, you know, they fulfill a role. They'll say, okay, well, we'll defend against this other invading herd, you know, and we'll defend the territory. We defend against wolves and things like this. It's instinctive.
Yeah.
And it's just natural in a, you know, there's a certain segment of society that says, hey, you know, I feel compelled. I love what's my life. I love what I see around me. I love all the people, and I want to defend that. That's the basic, I think, the basic instinct of why people join the military. And then when you get in and you find out, that's why so many of them, like the veteran on the video the other night, I think his name was Mike Hasty. He was the veteran who got sprayed in the face.
Got beat with the billy clubs?
No, that was the Navy guy.
Yeah.
The guy Mike Hasty who got sprayed in the face.
Yeah.
This was just the other night.
Right.
And he was a medic in Vietnam, and he saw, and he was, you know, saying, "Hey, we killed 170 people." I was like, this guy is bearing this on his conscience, and this is why. And he was talking about, look, it wasn't just the guys that got shot over there.
Yeah.
It was the guys that came home and committed suicide. It was the guys who came home and drank themselves to death.
Yeah. Well, today, I mean, 21 veterans a day kill themselves in the United States today. So, 21 U.S. veterans.
And more of them drink themselves to death. And back in the day, you know, after Vietnam, heroin, I mean...
Yeah.
Oh, my God, the guys out there picking up the pieces, let me tell you, every single one of them looks at me and I say, hey, how's it going? And they all just shake their head and they're like, fuck, man, what are we going to do? And I'm like, all right, you know, I don't know. I'm going to do what I can, you know. I mean, it's sick. It's really sick. And, but there's good news. This is really good news, because this is why I'm saying Portland, I'll bet you any amount of money that the week following, when they're talking about 700,000 people dying from fentanyl, I'll bet you any amount of money that because the people of Portland did what they did, the number of veteran suicides is going to go down in the weeks following that right there, because that tells them it's like, okay, man, somebody's got our back, because when they know it, like any human being, you know, it's like, you know damn well when you're being screwed, when you're being lied to, you know damn well when you get faced with it. So of course, it's not like, yeah, sure, there's grunts out there that, you know, rah, you know, they love this shit. They love the killing. That's a pretty small percentage.
They love to hate. They love to hate, you know. Us against them, us against them. They love that fucking division.
Well, yeah, it's like they're born to kill. It's like there are natural born killers, and, you know, that exists in with lions. It exists with chimpanzees. It exists with birds even. I've seen flocks of crows where certain crows are just, these are the killers, and so they call it a murder of crows, you know. And
Yeah, no,
but,
if an eagle comes into our territory here, the crows go crazy, dude.
oh God, they'll go after them. Yeah, and the hawks too. Here,
Yeah.
like in New York, we have, you know, every red tail. If you ever see a red tail hawk flying, they're always, you know, blackbirds after them.
Yeah, I saw one last summer. It was fucking beautiful. It was just sitting in a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Tail is red as could be. I couldn't believe how red the tail was.
They're gorgeous birds. When they scream, it's incredible, and they have, you know, they're just doing what they do, man. And
yeah,
they're constantly harassed. I couldn't imagine life as a red-tailed hawk, as they're constantly harassed.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I feel bad for the birds. It seems like there's fewer and fewer of them every day. The last couple nights there's been an owl outside, and he's just like hooting, and waiting, you know, to hear something back.
Yeah.
And doesn't hear anything.
Yeah.
I hoot back at him just so he knows someone hears him. And he hoots back to me too. So, you know. But I feel really bad. I feel really bad for the birds, man.
I know. I do. Yeah, I hoot back at them too, and sometimes I wonder. It's like, oh shit, am I like pretending to be a female? I don't know. It's like I'm getting his hopes up, but I don't know. It's just, but either way, he's not alone. And,
yeah.
He's learning.
You know, someone hears what he's saying. That's what I think. That's why they do it, right? They go, "Hey, I'm over here. Can anybody hear me?" I'm like, "Hey, I hear you."
An answer. Yeah, at least you got an answer.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, and so yeah, I think there's generals coming out now too. I know one in specific, which the only one name that I caught was Honore. Honore was the general of the National Guard who, when Katrina hit New Orleans, you know, there was this chaos.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of looting, and there was roving bands of people with guns.
There was a lot of desperate people for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of unreported, you know, homicides. It was crazy. That was an experiment in what happens when, you know, total chaos breaks out. But
when the government fails you.
Right, but during that time, this guy, he was sending in the National Guard to deliver food, and they were coming in on the trucks, and they've got their guns, you know, and they're holding their guns like they're, you know, in combat.
Yeah, like it's fucking like there's zombies all around them.
Yeah, and he was yelling at them, "Put your fucking guns down. Put your fucking guns down." He says, "You're delivering food, for Christ's sake. You're not here. This isn't combat. You're delivering food, for Christ's sake." You know, so this is the legacy of this guy. He's a good guy. There's some good guys, you know. You might have to, you know, it's like, it's kind of like finding pennies in sawdust, but they are there, and they're, you know, so for him to be coming out now, I thought was very good, and he's got, you know, a lot of people behind him. He's getting good airtime, and that's very good. It's a very good positive movement forward in this relationship between. A lot of people have this question: what would the military do? What would the military? Well, they have limited. A lot of people don't understand the military is subject to the civilian government in our country. We don't have, like in Turkey, this ambiguous thing where sometimes they might, you know, take over, and they're, you know, they tout themselves as holding the line and to preserve, you know, the good of the people. But in the United States, there's a very definitive line between what the military can do with our government. The military cannot just come in and say, "Okay, you're not the president, here's a new one." They can't do that here. That's how we keep authoritarianism at bay. If you get a guy like Trump, you're either going to have to impeach him And if you can't do that, you got to wait it out. And that's what we're doing right now. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, well,
And
until he announces
here's
that there's
the thing,
no election because of the plague.
Now, here's the thing. If he gets elected out, all you need is a general consensus and a reasonable a reasonable assumption that he has lost the election. He has to leave. It's not going to be like he can't just sit there and go, "Oh, I'm contesting the election, so I'm going to stay in the White House until I." No. Your term is up. Your term is up when it's up, and if the election is still contested, then they can make a decision on the ground whether to he can stay there, but he doesn't have any say so.
Well,
or no, you're leaving, and the next in line takes over.
Well,
because if the election, because his term is up, he has to win it.
You know, I mean, he's already talked about not being willing to accept the results of the election, and he's already talked about how his first term wasn't fair because he wasn't able to do anything because of the fucking impeachment and all of that crap. You know. And in my opinion, the Democrats have set him up really well to say, you know, that we can't accept the results of the election because of the Russians. The Russians have interfered in our election. You Democrats know that, right? And that means the election results are skewed, which means we have to nullify the election. And I understand he has the right to do this and stay in power until we can actually hold a safe election that we know is a real thing.
Okay, so here's my take on all this as far as from the military perspective. Okay, so from the military's perspective, no matter what happens in any election, the term of the serving president is up on January 1st. Period. End of story. It doesn't. So if he's gonna contest it, that doesn't put him in any better position than the challenger. You don't get a gratuitous nod because you're already in. The term is up. That's how simple it is. That's what I think. I really think that media is very short, especially the guys who know constitutional law. Though if you go deeper into the articles about this, and you go deeper into guys who know constitutional law, they're going to tell you it's like, no, you don't. There's no favoritism after January 1st. It's not like, well, he was already in, so he gets to stay. No, no. If it's contested, then it goes to the next in line, which would be either the vice president or the Speaker of the House. And technically, it would be most likely the Speaker of the House because the vice president is appointed. So I don't know. There is some ambiguity, but I'm telling you, I don't think the military is going to fuck around, and they know this shit. And it's not like Trump can just hang out in the White House until the end of January because of some, no, it's not going to be like that. I don't. See that happening.
I really hope that,
especially now.
The last thing we need is anything, more crazy fucking lunacy. But I really see. I see the potential for it to have been set up that way very well.
Yeah, it is, and there's definitely a line of command that goes to the next person who holds a valid office. It's like if your office is valid, you're the next in line. See, because Pence kind of goes with Trump because he's appointed.
Yeah,
he's not elected.
Yeah,
he's appointed, and so the elected is where it all lands, and that's the safety and security of our system. It's not always perfect. It's kind of crazy. But if, with these types of things right here, we're going to test, and that's what Trump wants to do. He wants to test that. And frankly, I'm on the fence about whether or not I like the test, because I would like to see it Like, okay, that's it for that. Don't ever try that again, kind of thing. Like with what just happened in Portland. I mean, really, did we have to go revisit this again? Did we have to learn again that when you send in jackboot Gestapos, that it doubles the size of the crowd night after night until you have, right, 50,000 people. I don't know how many were there. Yeah. I haven't seen any crowd counts on Portland, but it was a lot. I can guarantee you one thing. It scared the shit out of those federal agents.
I think so, man. I think they went,
those guys were screaming. Those guys were screaming on the phone. God damn it, get us some goddamn backups. I can guarantee you, when you're facing a crowd that big.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and those guys are wearing, I don't know, like, I don't care if it's skateboard gear or whatever it is, helmets and umbrellas. It doesn't matter. That was a hell of a crowd, and it's going to scare the hell out of anybody who's on the other side of it. So don't let them fool you for one fucking second. You know as well as I do, if it was me and you holed up in a house, right, and we've got our, maybe we got a little carried away, and we've got 50 pounds of, beautiful kush in the house. Right? There's 35,000 cops outside.
Yeah.
It's not like we're going to be brimming with confidence. And that's the same way whoever was in that federal building that night. Oh, you can believe it. That phone was hot, baby. That phone was hot.
Yeah.
And they were not happy. And that's why they're out of there. They said, no, we're not doing this anymore. You need to get us out of here.
Yeah,
this isn't our job.
I don't know. I think that from what I heard is that they're sending 100 more DHS Gestapo Stormtroopers to Portland. They pulled out of Seattle, but they're sending more to Portland because it's worked so well. Because it's worked so well so far.
Yeah, didn't that work so well? Wasn't that beautiful? I say, go ahead, let them. I would,
me too.
If you're gonna do it, here's the other thing: if you're gonna do it, why don't you just do it? Why do you got to tell everybody? So when you start telling everybody, it's like that tells you everything. It's like. They want to rile people up, and that's okay.
It's political. He's appealing to his base. He's showing his base what a strong man he is.
Yeah. And
gonna go beat up on those damn Portland moms, man. I can't stand those bitches.
Mm-hmm. 5 deferment bone spurs. This is the one thing that's gonna be an asterisk under this presidency forever. It's never gonna leave. 5 deferment bone spurs. Paid for by daddy, and that's what's going to carry with every person who's ever been in the military. They cannot get that out of their mind. It's like a train wreck. You can't unsee it, and it's just like this is nothing compared to like the old days when they were arguing about John Kerry, whether or not he was on the the boats and Bush or whatever. And Bush was, come on. I mean, it's like, he was those little powdered princes of the Pentagon. There are those, and believe me, the military does not like those. The 90% of the military does not like those guys. When you're a powdered prince and you get carried around and, fuck that. No, dude. How about this? How about Ivanka put on a goddamn fatigues and get out in the front lines in Afghanistan? Hey, Ivanka, I need you to go on reconnaissance with why don't you take Harold here with you? It's his first day. He's a medic. Why don't you take Harold with you and get up on that goddamn mountain and see if there's anybody on the other side of it?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ivanka. And take Don Jr. with you, too, since he's such a big, badass hunter. Give him a goddamn gun. Yeah, let's see where he goes. He likes to shoot defenseless elephants. Let's see how he does with, skilled, freedom fighters.
Well, yeah. Again, if you're defending your home, it's very different from if you're like going over to somebody else's home to fucking fight. I mean,
you're done.
It's
you're
just
defending.
You're the ones in the wrong, and it needs to stop.
Yeah, from a military perspective, if you're an invading force, you've only got two options. Either you've got to win the hearts and minds, in other words, that you're going in, you're actually helping an oppressed people, or you've got an overwhelming military force that just obliterates them, which is what we did here
smash everything
in the United States, with the indigenous. But in Iraq, it's still a kerfuffle in Iraq. It's not safe for an American to go to Iraq today. It's not like they're not. If you drove if you drive an American Suburban, with New York plates into Baghdad, I'm pretty sure you're not going to make it very far today as a tourist waving an American flag out the window saying, "Hey, we're here to liberate you." Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
They're going to greet us. They're going to greet us as liberators, just like they did in Portland.
they're gonna greet you as a tourist invader. It's like that's not good luck. No, Afghanistan too.
Yeah. All right, Dave. Well, I gotta take a break.
All right. Yeah. See ya.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Yeah. Good talking to you, Mike.
Okay.
Bye bye.
And he's right. I mean, how long they said that the fentanyl drug bust is gonna could have killed 700,000 people, right? Is there like 700,000 people who can't wait to get their hands on fentanyl in fucking Linwood, in Everett, wherever it was, North Seattle? I can't stand that reefer madness shit. The reefer madness media drive me crazy. And it's such a psychological mind fuck kind of a thing that it's just really, really disgusting to me. That the local news would do that to the people that they serve. That's disgusting. All right, so let's see. I have Protect Democracy lawsuit. We should check out the Protect Democracy lawsuit video.
After more than 60 nights of protests, the showdown continues on the streets of Portland, Oregon, and now increasingly in the courts. The nonprofit group Protect Democracy is suing the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and multiple federal agencies on behalf of activist groups including Wall of Moms and Don't Shoot Portland. The lawsuit, filed Monday in Washington, D.C., alleges federal officers are illegally tear-gassing demonstrators, making unlawful arrests, and using force to, quote, stamp out peaceful and constitutionally protected protests. But the Trump administration is planning to send more officers to the city. The Washington Post reports more U.S. Marshals were dispatched last week and that police reinforcements from Customs and Border Protection may soon be on the way. Ken Cuccinelli, acting Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security, said Monday that the government's response is intended to stop attacks on federal officers protecting federal property. He accused protesters and advocates of mischaracterizing the situation and said anyone who tells you otherwise is willfully ignoring the facts or lying. As of Monday, 22 people were facing federal charges including assaulting law enforcement officers, vandalism, arson, and failing to obey lawful orders. Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler has demanded an audience with Homeland Security officials to, quote, discuss a ceasefire and removal of heightened federal forces from Portland. The mayor was hit by tear gas during a protest last week. One Portland man described the aftermath from a recent night of protest and gas.
The mask I've worn for one night is so saturated with tear gas that if I exhale hard enough, you can see like a cloud of smoke come out of it. That's pepper and tear gas saturated through my mask.
The Protect Democracy lawsuit was filed after a federal judge ruled Oregon's Attorney General lacked legal standing to sue over tactics used against protesters. Separately, a judge has barred federal officers from targeting journalists or legal observers. U.S. Representative Earl Blumenauer of Oregon says the Trump administration's crackdown has only worsened unrest on the streets. He's worried that things, quote, will get even more out of hand because it doesn't take much of a spark when you've got these extremes. For Newsy, I'm Peter Hecht.
All right, so I am really surprised we have not heard a judge's ruling on what's happening in Portland as of yet, from what I understand. Other than a couple periphery things about them not being able to brutalize observers, because people have a right to film and observe the police and what they're doing, even though the cops keep telling people to put their cameras down. The feds do. The Gestapo is Stormtroopers, excuse me. Alright, so let's see. As you can see, there are many, many people in the streets in Portland, in Seattle. I think we had Austin on the screen earlier, and I'm sure Louisville, Kentucky was there also. Also, NYC was there earlier also. So, lots of people still in the street. Looked like there was a lot of people in New York. Okay, so I still have quite a few videos to play. I was going to play a couple more videos for you here. So I have a video. If anybody wants to call, the number is 805-669-6397. It's a call-in show. So, and we'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, I'm going to play a video about more feds, more Gestapo stormtroopers headed to Portland, because the last caller was talking about he thought that they were getting pulled out of Portland, but it looks like they're sending more that direction. In case you're wondering, because the last group worked out so fucking well. Trump said, I'll have this handled in a matter of hours, okay? Now they have to send in more troops because didn't have enough troops to handle it in a matter of hours, right?
Well, the Northwest remains in the spotlight tonight when it comes to protesting, as Portland is likely headed towards its 62nd straight night of demonstrations. William Lajeunesse is there with the Department of Homeland Security, considering sending more federal agents to the Rose City.
After a weekend of often violent protests across the country calling for police reform, it was a relatively quiet night on Monday. Except in Portland, where protesters clashed with police once again on the 61st consecutive night of demonstrations at the federal courthouse.
Why I'm on the front line? To help protect the people behind me. Because every shot that they waste on me and my shield is a shot that they don't get to use on someone else.
We were inside as the violence flared up again, getting a first-hand look at how federal officers protect the building. Protesters setting fires and throwing projectiles at officers, including at least one Molotov cocktail. The feds responding with tear gas and flashbangs to disperse the crowd. With the violence now escalating, DHS is now considering sending in more agents to help protect the courthouse and other federal buildings. Now, some blame Portland's mayor for what they see as a weak response to increasing attacks against law enforcement.
Of course, the federal government has to defend its own property if a local mayor will not. If he doesn't want federal officers in Portland, he ought to do his job.
The protesters say their goal isn't to incite violence, but they'll stay on the streets until they see systemic changes in police and beyond.
To actually have change in the government and stuff, that's totally what I want to see. I don't want to have to keep protesting for Black lives.
So the mayors of 6 cities, including Portland, are now calling on Congress to stop the deployment of what they consider militarized agents in cities where they're not wanted. In Portland, William Lajeunesse, Fox News.
Yeah, right now, or are you on the program?
Yeah, we just went back live. So this is Chris from Olympia, everybody. How's it going, Chris?
Okay. I'm doing good, Mike. And I'm enjoying the summer weather. You know, we're having kind of nice weather. You know, it's been a little warm. That's a fact.
Yeah.
But I'm doing okay. I did have a few things I wanted to share with you tonight.
Right on.
I think I have a delay. I've been having weird connections with my internet, so I was watching the last video that you were playing from Newsy about the escalating tensions in Portland, and I don't know. I did have some thoughts and reflections about that. I think I see I watched Joe Biden's presentation today. Did you play any of that at all?
No, I haven't. I didn't get around to Joe Biden yet.
Well, I can understand that. But he gave a kind of like a press conference today, but it wasn't really like a press conference because it looked like he had received all the questions ahead of time. He was constantly consulting his notes as he was answering questions, and he called people by name. And, it was just a limited amount of people from the press who were present in the room. So it really looked very scripted. It didn't look like a press conference by any definition of the word, reporters asking him any questions. But he did make some points. He definitely attacked the demonstrators in the streets of Portland, and he did it in a way where he said that he supported Black Lives Matter, and he fell into, talking about racial divisions in the United States and how his administration would repair racial divisions in America. But he didn't talk about police brutality once. He didn't talk about, police violence against people once. And he did say that people who are destroying property need to be dealt with accordingly.
Yeah.
So really, whatever you think about Donald Trump, Joe Biden isn't offering anything better.
No. No, not in any way, shape, or form. Joe Biden is the worst possible candidate the Democrats could have picked, and he's not about freedom, and he's never going to be anything to do with standing up against the police state. You've already pointed out that he has zero intention of legalizing cannabis on his watch.
He does have zero intention of legalizing cannabis, and there was a story from Marijuana Moments, and it was from July 24th. It said Congress is planning to vote on federal marijuana legalization bill in September. All right, so these are Democrats in the Congress, and there's 80 Democrats in the Congress who are pushing different aspects of marijuana reform, including it would federally deschedule cannabis, expunge the records of those with prior convictions of marijuana, impose a federal 5% tax on sales, and also it would create a pathway for resentencing for those incarcerated for marijuana offenses, as well as protect immigrants from being denied citizenship over cannabis, and prevent federal agencies from denying public benefits or security clearances due to cannabis use. And it says that they want to vote on it in this fall. They have, like I said, 80 sponsors from the bill. And if you go to Marijuana Moment and you look at the article, it'll kind of give you a background of the different players in Washington, D.C. and their attitudes toward legalization of marijuana. They mention Mitch McConnell, for example, who is opposed to marijuana legalization. And they mention, Donald Trump isn't for legalization, and neither is Joe Biden. And because Joe Biden isn't for legalization, they might not push it in the fall. But, it's just to note that, people are putting pressure on their representatives in Congress to help growers and shops with, taxes and being able to pay with money, offering them banking services.
Yeah.
And so they need to address these issues that they've just been ignoring. Like, Obama ignored it, and Trump has ignored it.
Yep.
And it's not really helping the matter. So that's just, one of the paragraphs here says, one congressional staffer told Marijuana Moment that they're skeptical that the House will ultimately pursue a floor vote of the MORE Act so close to the November election as the presumptive Democratic nominee, Joe Biden, remains opposed to adult use of legalization, and it could put him on the spot. So because of Joe Biden's kind of retroactive, regressive policies or his positions on marijuana, he's going to hold, the progressive wing of the Democratic Party back. What a surprise.
Yeah.
That was
It's disgusting, man. But it's good to know that they're trying to get something done, but at the same time, it's obvious that the politics being played with it. It's never going to go anywhere in the Senate with Mitch McConnell there, and and this is the thing: is it seems like it would be an amazing ploy for the Democrats to go, no, look, we're on the people's side. We're on the side of moving forward. We're on the side of a better, brighter tomorrow, and no more police state. They're getting and instead, because people will recognize if they're, oh, look, the Democrats, if they actually got it through the Senate and then Trump vetoed it, you know what I mean? That would just show, who's for freedom. I don't know.
Yeah, it would give them better chances in the fall if they actually trusted the public and they were representing the public's views. If they sponsored a legalization initiative and it even made it out of the House and the Senate shot it down and the president refused to push for it, it would definitely give them more credibility with the American people, because most Americans believe in legalization of marijuana and decriminalization of drugs. It's moving up in public consciousness.
Yeah.
So people are thinking about these things. But instead, the leadership is still tied to the cop unions. The leadership is still tied to the pharmaceutical companies. The leadership is still tied to the alcohol and tobacco lobbies, right?
Right.
So the leadership of the Democratic Party is not pushing this issue very hard because their political constituents are, people that support them, their sponsors, don't want that to happen for their own reasons, And the police state, like you mentioned throughout all of these demonstrations, the police state benefits the most from incarcerating people for, small amounts of drugs. They make a fortune off of that. Not just lots of fentanyl, not just 700,000 fentanyl pills, but 600,000 people a year are arrested and have to go through the criminal justice system for something as simple as possession of marijuana.
Yeah.
It's the most common charge for a drug charge in America. So again, all of those families that have been affected for the last 40 or 50 years, all those families have a beef with the government, and the Democratic Party could get some clout. They're not going to do it. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be the case. I mentioned in the last couple of weeks about increased opioid deaths because of COVID lockdown, and I also mentioned there was one other statistic I gave related. Suicides. So opioid deaths have increased substantially, and suicide rates have also increased since COVID lockdown compared to the same exact numbers last year. There was another number I wanted to share with you tonight. This is car crashes, right?
Car crashes? You say car crashes?
Car crashes.
Yeah.
Car crashes. It says motor vehicle fatality rate jumped 36% in April despite quarantines.
Right.
The mileage death rate. So there was this article that I found here. It's from, it's from the NSC, which is the National Safety Council, and they say motor vehicle fatality rates jumped 36% in April despite quarantines. And it said, quote, even without traffic, our roads were no safer, said Lorraine Martin, NSC president and CEO. It's heartbreaking to see the carnage on our roadways continue, especially when our medical professionals should be able to focus intently on treating a pandemic rather than preventable car crashes. These numbers underscore our urgent need to change the culture of safety on our roads. And it says, as was the case in March, quarantines and shelters in place directed across the country account for a significant portion of the drop in number of deaths. Okay, so what I saw from reading this article was that even though there was a lockdown, which means there were fewer people driving, the fatality rates and the crash rates were higher than they were last year. And the only reason I could think of why that would be different is that people's stress levels have just gone off the charts. So when they're actually driving around, they're so stressed out by their environment that they're driving less safely, they're more impatient, they're more frustrated, and they're more afraid. And that results in increased fatalities and increased deaths on the road.
They definitely. I remember that there was almost no one on the road back then. And at least in my neighborhood, even
Like in April,
even
yeah.
the freeways were empty. And I remember the people, when you would see people though, they would drive like twice as fast as normally. You know what I mean? Or even faster sometimes, like crazy people. Some of them were driving like crazy people.
Like there's no cars on the street, so I can drive as fast as I want to drive.
Yeah. Which, there's still little old ladies and dogs and cats and kids and, so I don't, I can't stand that in my neighborhood, man. It just makes me crazy.
I don't like it either. It's dangerous for kids and people's pets, and it's not cool. People are very selfish sometimes when they want to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So I do have time this week to visit
right
you
on.
and Craig maybe and visit you.
Right
so
on.
if it's possible that Craig could send me a text or something and give me some information first, that would be great.
Yeah, when Craig's out of town tonight, I don't know if he was in the chat earlier, but he'll get back tomorrow. I'll let him send you. I'll have him send you a text tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I appreciate what David from New York was saying about Trump. I'm not a big supporter of Donald Trump at all. I just wanted to really point out that there really isn't any alternative here.
No.
And Barack Obama broke up Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah.
Barack Obama did the fusion centers, like I said, against the anarchists, used the federal government with the police forces to infiltrate political organizations. Joe Biden this afternoon at a press conference said that the federal government and state and local law enforcement should pursue people who break windows and have graffiti and, treat them like the criminals that they are. So I don't see anybody really supporting the people on the streets who are protesting against police brutality, Republicans or Democrats.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's really fair to just say, oh, Donald Trump is a monster. Look at the monster. Isn't it funny? His kids talk funny and his wife is funny. Ha ha. I don't get any humor out of that whatsoever. What I see Donald Trump as is he's an actor, and he's serving the purposes of the powers that be, period. And if he did not serve the interest of the powers that be, he would be dead.
Yeah.
It's that fucking simple. He is in power for a reason. If the reason is to be like this kind of like Hollywood or television actor who has a certain demeanor and he's a little off, and we had that. That was Ronald Reagan. This is not unusual. This happened before. So I would not be surprised if he won the election and we get 4 more years of Bonzo. Bonzo with like blonde hair in the fucking in the White House.
Yeah.
But the flip side is what? We get some demented, crazy fucking person from the 1980s, like a time warp, who doesn't even understand the reality that most Americans are living in, and who has like early signs of dementia,
right,
and who actually supports the interest of credit card companies and banks and weird companies in the Ukraine, right? I mean, that's our alternative. That's kind of, we're just so fucked at this point, Mike. I appreciate the people in the streets, but as far as our politics in this country go, I do not see any way out of it. Like, elections are not going to get us out of this situation at all. And it could get much worse. Could get much, much worse.
And that's why I keep pointing out that that I really can't wait for the day when there's 1 million people surrounding the White House, because that's like you said, it's just ridiculous to try and act like an election is going to make a difference,
There was another thing about Joe Biden's little spiel today.